Good morning, ma'am.
Audible, Amma? How many have joined so far? 107. Could be more than 200, la. Have you got 3 units of notes? All of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay, ma'am. Okay, let me share till the people join. Is my screen visible? Is my screen visible, ma?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it's visible.
Just tell me nearly when 200 people join. And again, we'll be looking into the basics of your proportional logic, then first order logic, and then what is that knowledge-based agents like and logical agents. And then we'll be looking into the forward chaining and backward chaining. So here, what are the important things is you should learn about proportional logic, first order logic, and then knowledge-based, and then forward chaining and backward chaining. So the first 1.5 hours, we'll try to complete this 4th unit. And the remaining time we look into this 5th unit. So 5th unit is so lengthy and important topics alone equivalent because you ask as an open choice. You don't have either or, isn't it? Yes or no? Your question paper is a open choice, Anama. Those who are interested, you can learn the 5th unit and go through the 5th unit. Otherwise, till the 4th unit, if you are thorough, then you can, that itself, you can score good marks. Is audible? Kindly respond because I'm out of that screen.
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. How many have joined? Because initially I have to take the attendance.
135, ma'am.
Okay, let me take the attendance and the others let them join, okay? Only 133. Okay, just a half an hour later, I'll take the attendance. So first, if you want to learn this first order logic, you should be familiar with your proportional logic. I think this we have seen. We'll just rush it up. So it is a simple. Is it clear? The content is clear, or because it is not exactly the PPT. Everything in the Word I converted in the PPT format because you cannot view it completely. Is it okay? Only this much you could get it. You're able to see me. I cannot maximize this.
Yes, ma'am.
You can see the content, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you have to manage. Because if you want to look into this entire screen, I cannot increase the font size. Because from the Word, I copied everything and put it in the PPTs. Is it okay?
Okay, ma'am. Continue.
Yeah. Answer me, is it okay? I can proceed. Already 15 minutes gone.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am, it's okay.
So here, this first we look into this proportional logic. So it's the simplest form and made by proportions. So what is a proportion? It's a declarative statement. You can say only true or false. So it is one way of representing your knowledge in the logical and as well as your mathematical form. So when you say it is Sunday, you can say yes or no, right? So like that you can use this. So here it is also called as Boolean because 0 or 1. And you are going to use the variables here like A, B, C like that. And it can be either true or false. It cannot be both. Okay. So what does it consist of? An object, relations or functions, and some logical connectives will be there. So that connective is called as a logical operators. Okay, the proportion and connective are the basic elements of a proportional logic. So proportions now you have object and some function and you have a connective, logical connective. So it is always true. That is called as tautology. When it is false, it is said as contradiction. Okay. When a proportion formula which has both true and false values is called contingency. Okay. So now these cannot be a proportional logic. There are two types of proportion. One is atomic and the other one is compound. The atomic proportion in the sense simple proportions, only single proportion symbol will be there. Okay, these are the atomic proportion. The sun is cold. It is not cold, it is hot. So when they ask if the sun is cold, you should say it is false. Okay. And what is compound proportion? And it is connected by combining simple or atomic proportions. Okay, each sentence நம்ம வந்து combine பண்ணா it becomes a compound proportions. And it is rainy today and the street is wet. Okay. And what is the logical connectives? They used to connect two simple proportions logically. Okay. So with the help of connectors only we can form the compound proportions. So 5 connectives are there. So we have seen negation, conjunction, disjunction, implication, biconditional. So these are the symbols, connective symbols. Okay. And the word when it is inverted V, we say and. It is V is or, implies, if and only if, and not, negation. Okay. So these are the terms. We have a truth table for this. Okay. See for the negation, if you give P is true, the negation of P is false. Okay, look at it into the symbol. Either tilde sign or a symbol like this you can use for negation. And conjunction and operation. So when both are true only you get the answer true. Otherwise it is false. Disjunction is or. Okay. And or is any one is true, you get the answer true. And implication is both should be of the same value or according to the implications P implies Q. The sense whatever value is there of Q that will be given as the output. Okay, you can see here in the implication. And then biconditional, when both the values are same, you get a true. If and only if both the values are true. Okay. So you can use, I think we have seen this P, Q, R values are there. Okay, 2 power 3, 8 combinations will be there. First, you find the negation of R and you find P or Q. So take P value and Q value, perform R condition and give the answer there. And you have R value, negation of that. If it is true, false. Like that you give. So you have a negation. And you are supposed to give P or Q implies negation of R. So you have to take these two. Okay, first is this. This is going to imply the negation of R. So when it is true and false, what is the value of R? You get that here. When both are true, you get a true. Okay, when both are false, same value, you get a true. Remaining things, all our P or Q will always imply this negation of R value. Okay, and what is the precedent? Which should be used first, all that. So one more example. And you have community law, associative law, all these things, whichever we have learned in mathematics, the same thing could be here. Identity element and distributive, De Morgan's law. Okay, everything could be used here in this proportional logic. The next one is first order logic. So this is your first order logic in artificial intelligence. So in the proportional logic, we have seen how to represent the statements using that proportional logic. But in proportional logic, we can represent only the fact, either true or false. But it's not sufficient to represent your complex sentence or your natural language sentences, statements. So it has very limited power. You can say yes or no. Okay, so take this example. Some humans are intelligent or Sachin likes cricket. So these things cannot be given with the facts of proportional logic. So what is this first order logic? So it is one way of representing is proportional logic. The other way of representing knowledge is your first order logic in your artificial intelligence. So it is an extension to your proportional logic. So it is expressive to represent the natural language statements in a concise way. Okay. So first order logic is also known as predicate logic. It is not proportional logic. This is predicate logic or first order predicate logic. So it is a powerful language and it is going to develop information about the objects in a more easy way. And it can also express the relationship between the objects. So in the first order logic, like natural language, doesn't only assume that the world contains facts like proportional logic, that is only true and false is not there, but also assume the following things in the world. So we'll take this A, B, people, all these are the objects, and you can have relationship. That is, it can be unary relationship, okay, or it could be n-array relationships. Okay, then we have the functions, further off like that. And as a natural language, first order logic has two main parts. One is syntax and the semantics. So what should your first order logic consist of? Object, relations, and functions. Okay, they have a syntax and semantics. So what do you mean by syntax? It is a collection of symbols. So how we are going to have the logical expressions in the first order logic. So syntax means we can say it as a rule. Okay, so the basic syntax elements of a first order logic are only symbols. So these are some of the basic elements of a first order logic. So when you say constant, it could be numeric or characters. Then we have the variables. Then we have the predicates, brother, father, sister, like that. Then we have the functions. Okay, then we have the connectives. And then we have the equality. Then we have the quantifier. Okay. And what are the atomic statements here? Atomic statement means the basic elements, the basic statements of a first order logic. So yeah, they are going to use this predicate symbol, and it will be followed by parenthesis with a sequence of terms. So how you can say this? Predicate, bracket, you have n number of terms. Okay, this is your atomic statement, because kindly understand this, because these are things which we'll be using it in the following forward chaining and backward chaining, right? So how we have this? You can say Ravi and Ajay are brothers. How you could write this? Brothers, Ravi and Ajay. Then Chinky is a cat. You write cat within bracket. If we say Chinky, Chinky is a cat. This is your atomic statements. So similarly, you can write some complex statements. Okay. So when you combine these atomic statements, then it becomes a complex statements. And how you're going to combine? You're going to use the connectives. Okay, two parts are there, subject and predicate will be there. So X is an integer. Take the example, X is a subject. Okay, something you are going to describe about is called the subject, and what you are describing is the predicate. English subject and predicate like that. So X is the subject, and you are saying that X is an integer. Something you are saying about the subject, that becomes a predicate. Okay, so the X is a subject and is an integer is a predicate. So what are the quantifiers in your first order logic? So what is the quantifier? It's a language element. It generates quantification. Okay, the quantity of specimen in the universe. Okay, and these are the symbols that permit to determine or identify the range and the scope of the variables. There are two quantifiers. One is universal quantifiers and existential quantifiers. For all, everyone, everything, it comes under the universal. For some, for at least one, all this comes under existential quantifiers. So what is the universal quantifier? It's a symbol of logical representation, specify that the statement within its range is true for everything or every instant of a particular thing. Okay, what is the symbol given? You can see inverted B will be there in that one dash will be there. Okay, that is inverted A of the invert panna. That symbol is called as universal quantifier for all, everyone, everything. That has to be represented by inverted A. And then the universal quantifier, we use the implication will be used. Okay, so if X is a variable for all X, for each X, for every X. So if you write inverted A of X, how it has to be read is for all X, for each X, and for every X. All man drink coffee. Okay, so you can take X as a variable and you have to put the inverted A. Okay, so X1 drinks coffee, X2 drinks X till all X drinks coffee. So you can see X is a man. Okay, so when writing in the first order logic, X man, so X is a man. So for all X, okay, it means X stands for all X. So all man drink coffee. That is how it has to be read. Okay, where X is a man who drink coffee. Because initially you have given the term X is a man. So for all X, okay, for all X, that means all man drink coffee because X says X is a man. Okay, well, next we have this essential quantifier. So this is a type of quantifier which expresses that the statement within scope is true for at least one instant of something. So this is going to be given by the logical operator. This is the inverted E. Okay, E invert பண்ணி போட்டுருக்கணும். This is given as a essential quantifier. Okay, then we always use and or conjunction symbol will be used in this. Okay, if X is a variable, then essential quantifier will be that inverted E of X. Okay, and how you are going to read it as there exists X for some X for at least. Okay, that is for all and for some or for some at least. Okay, some boys are intelligent. Okay, so you can say either X will be intelligent or there it is and everything is covered. But here only a maximum of or a few things will be or at least something will be covered. So you can say X1 is intelligent or you can say X2 or you can find it out till X of N. Okay, so anybody could be intelligent because it is used the term existence qualifiers. So here you can see X or boys, or at least some X, they are intelligent. So X is intelligent. That is some boys. Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am. Content ரொம்ப சின்னதா தெரியுது. கொஞ்சம் zoom பண்றீங்களா?
நான் அதான் சொன்னேன். I cannot zoom it. Otherwise, what I could do is I have to zoom like this.
And I have to...
Now it is okay. Only in this form I could give you.
This is better, ma'am.
This is better, but you cannot see it as a slide. Okay, I have to move it. Okay. So this is read as there are some X. There are some because at least X we can take or some X where X are boys. Okay, it means some boys are intelligent because X is resembling boys. That is not all boys, some boys. Okay, this is how it should be written. Okay, then points to remember the main connective for universal quantifier is implication. That is inverted A and implication. And the main connective for your essential qualifier is this is for some X we can take and it is OR operation. Okay, these two are the main connectives for these two quantifiers. So what are they? See, these are some of the properties. Okay, for all X and for all Y similar to you can write like commutative laws, right? And let us see a few examples of this first order logic using this quantifier. Because this is more important in going for your first order, forward chaining and backward chaining. So I'll rush it up here. Some examples here. All birds fly. So what is the term? What is the quantifier you can use? Because it has mentioned all. So you have to use inverted A. Okay. First, you should mention X is a bird. Take a variable and mention that is a bird. And it has to resemble your all birds. Okay. And then you have to mention that birds will fly. All birds will fly. So you can see here for all X, where X is a bird. Okay. Implies all birds fly. Okay. Understood now?
மேம் ஜஸ்ட் மினிட் மேம் அங்க கீழே 95% அப்படியே கொஞ்சம் ட்ராக் பண்ணுங்க மேம் அந்த பிபிடில கீழே 95 அது ஒன்றும்
ஓகே
அந்த நடுவுல இருக்கிறத வந்து ட்ராக் பண்ணுங்க மேம் நடுவுல சின்னதா கோடு இருக்குல்ல பிளஸ் மைனஸ்க்கு நடுவுல அது அப்படியே டுவர்ட்ஸ் 100 அப்படியே ட்ராக் பண்ணுங்க அப்படியே இழுத்து விட்டு அப்படியே ஜஸ்ட் இழுத்து விடுங்க மேம் அந்த நடுவுல இருக்க கோடு
It is no, இது வந்து 352% காமிக்குது. I cannot see a complete sentence here.
இத நீங்க நடுவுல சின்ன கிளிக் ஓகே மேம் தேங்க்ஸ்.
For others, is it okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So as I said, நான் வந்து வேர்ட் உள்ள கண்டென்ட் எடுத்து அப்படியே போட்டு பிபிடியே மாத்திருக்கேன். அதனால I cannot பிபிடியே காமிக்கும் போது the font size will be less. There I cannot zoom it. Okay. So this is the example. Look into this next one. Every man respects his parent. Okay, every man. So X is taken as a man, Y is taken as a parent. Okay, you have to mention all that. Okay, X is a man. So you're saying every man, it means all man. Am I right? So for all now, you have to put inverted A. So X is a man for all man. Okay, all man. Okay, so respect X comma parent. X is a man. Here you are resembling all man. Okay, all or every. So every man respects parent. Okay, or even you put, you have to mention separately. Bracketல வந்து y போட்டு next வந்து parent போடணும். ஓகேவா? Because it is not that every man respects every parent. அப்படி கிடையாது. Each man will respect the parent. அதனால வந்து all man respect the parent. So காமனா இந்த சைட் parent வந்துச்சு. அதனால வந்து you put it as parent comma bracketல y போட்டுக்கோங்க. சரியா? அப்போ இங்க எழுதும் போது respects x comma y னா y is a parent, x is a man. So all man. So இங்க வந்து all man or every man அதுக்கு inverted a போடணும். So every man respects their parent. Okay. செப்பரேட்டா போடணும்னா y வந்து பேரண்ட் நம்ம இங்க எழுதினோம்னா instead of this like this இங்க வந்து man x போட்டிருக்கோம். அப்ப கீழே என்ன பண்ணணும்? பேரண்ட் பிராக்கெட்ல y போடணும். அப்படி போட்டீங்கன்னா it implies respects x, y போடலாம். ஏன்னா x வந்து man, y வந்து பேரண்ட் நம்ம இங்க மென்ஷன் பண்ணிடுறோம். ஓகே, நெக்ஸ்ட் ஒன் some boys play cricket. ஸோ இங்க வந்து not all or every வரல, some தான் வந்திருக்கு. அப்ப என்ன பண்ணணும்? இன்வெர்டட் e யூஸ் பண்ணணும். ஓகேவா? ஏன்னா சம் இங்க. சோ எக்ஸ்னா பாய்ஸ், சம் பாய்ஸ். அப்போ இந்த அதை எப்படி இம்ப்ளை பண்ணுவோம்னா எக்ஸ்னா சம் பாய்ஸ் பிளே கிரிக்கெட். அவ்வளவுதான். இந்த சென்டென்ஸ் வந்து அப்படியே நம்ம லாஜிக்கா எழுதுறோம். நாட் ஆல் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் லைக் போத் மேத்தமெட்டிக்ஸ் அண்ட் சயின்ஸ். ஓகேவா? சோ எக்ஸ் வந்து ஸ்டூடெண்ட் வச்சிருக்காங்க, ஒய் வந்து சப்ஜெக்ட் வச்சிருக்காங்க. எக்ஸ் வந்து ஸ்டூடெண்ட், ஒய் வந்து சப்ஜெக்ட். ஓகேவா? So X is a student. Not all. All-க்கு inverted A போடணும். Not of all-க்கு என்ன பண்ணணும்? Negation போடணும். ஓகேவா? Like mathematics. So தனித்தனி சப்ஜெக்டா சொல்றாங்க. They don't like maths and they don't like science. ரெண்டு சப்ஜெக்ட்மே பிடிக்காது. ஓகேவா? So X, okay, negation இங்க. Okay, don't like mathematics and X don't like science. அவ்வளவுதான். நெக்ஸ்ட் வந்து only one student failed in mathematics. only one. அது வந்து என்னன்னா உங்களுடைய எக்ஸிஸ்டன்ட் இது. சரியா? அப்போ இன்வெர்டட் e யூஸ் பண்ணணும். ஓகே, and then we have this free and bound variables. So you have free and bound variables. So the quantifier, they will interact with the variables which appear in the suitable way. There are two types of variables. One is first order logic variable. So you can see free variable and bound variable. Free variable na is said to be free variable in a formula if it occurs outside the scope of the quantifier. Outside the scope of the free variable. Okay. When it is a bounded variable na, it occurs within the scope of the quantifier. Outside the scope of the quantifier na free. Within the scope of the quantifier, it is a bound variable. Okay, Z is the free variable here. X and Y are the bound variable. Here Z. ஏன்னா Xக்கும் Yக்கும் நம்ம என்ன கொடுத்திருக்கோம் quantifier கொடுத்தாச்சு ஆனா Z க்கு கிடையாது. It is outside the scope of the quantifier. அதனால it is a free variable. ஆனா இங்க என்ன பண்ணிருக்கோம் for all. Okay, X. So X Y யும் within the bound கொடுத்திருக்கோம். Okay, அதனால இது வந்து bound variables. Okay, that is all here. So this is more important in learning in the forward chaining and backward chaining. This is more important. And the next one, what we are supposed to learn is, let's go tell you. Okay, you have much more in this. I think you can go through this. What are the advantages and disadvantages for this logic? Okay. And what are the different approaches? இதெல்லாம் வந்து ஒரு theory-ஆ இருக்கும். So you can learn this. Which is important, I'll tell you that. நம்ம படிச்சதேதான் first order logicல object relations functions அப்படி இருக்கும். So this is an example for a first order logic. ஒரு different approachல வந்து they might have given your example. Okay, எத்தனை objects இருக்கு, எவ்வளவு relations இருக்கு, அது எல்லாமே கொடுத்துப்பாங்க, எத்தனை functions இருக்குன்னு. So that they will take it as a basic elements-ஆ எடுத்துட்டு அது எல்லாத்தையுமே பிரிச்சு they will write the sentences. Okay, இது சும்மா எக்ஸாம்பிள் தான். நம்ம பேசிக்கா ஸ்ட்ராங்கா படிச்சோம்ல, that is okay. Okay, atomic sentence na enna, composite sentence na enna, they might have given in the different examples. இதுதான் சரியா? I don't find time in that. And then we have what is the constraint satisfaction problems. இது ஓகேவா இருக்காமா? இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் ஜூம் பண்ணணுமா? Much more. Is it okay? இது ஓகேவா இருக்காமா? Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
So now we are going to look into this constraint satisfaction problem. All these related to your artificial intelligence. So constraint means solving a problem. Constraint are some conditions, some rules will be there. Or limitations. Okay, other satisfy the problems in artificial intelligence. That is called some constraints satisfaction problems. So it's a technique where a problem is solved when its values satisfy certain constraints or rules of the problem. So such type of technique leads to deeper understanding of the problem. Okay, so it depends on three components, your constraint satisfaction. What are those three components? X, a variable, set of domains, and a set of constraints. So X is a set of variable. D means set of domains, where the variables will be residing, will be there. Okay, so for each variable there will be a domain. And then C is the set of constraints. So these variables which are there in the domains, they have to follow these constraints. Constraints violations இருந்தாதான் நமக்கு error எப்பவுமே வருது. So in the constraint satisfaction, domains are the spaces where the variables will reside, and they'll be following some problem specific constraints. So the three main elements will be there. So this is how you could take. It consists of a pair of scope and REL. So what is that relation? Okay, scope and the relation. So scope is a tuple of variables which participate in the constraint, and relation REL is the relation which includes a list of values which the variables can take to satisfy the constraints of the problem. What type of relations they have so that they can satisfy the constraints. Just look into this constraint satisfaction problem. So what do you mean now? You have a variables, okay, they reside in a domain, and these variables have to follow some constraints. That's it. If you want to solve this CSP, that is constraint specific satisfaction problem, constraint satisfaction problem. So you need a state space and the notion of the solution, that is how you are going to represent that. Okay. So you can represent like this. An assignment of values to a variable can be done in 3 ways. When you are assigning values to a variable, 3 ways we can do. One is legal assignment or consistent assignment. Doesn't violate any constraints or the rule, that is legal. Okay. And then complete assignment, where every variable is assigned with a value, and again the solution will remain consistent, that is called as complete assignment. So here every variable will be given a value. Okay, and the solution is consistent, will not change. Then partial assignment, some variable only will be assigned the values. Yes, that is called as partial. So there are some variables they don't violate. That is the first one. That is that is a legal assignment or consistent assignment. Okay, in complete the sense, every variable will be given a value. Okay, and the solution will remain constant. That is your complete assignment. And then yes, only some of the variables will be given assigned some values. So that is called as partial assignment. And what are the different types of domains we have here? Now we are talking about the variables. Now the domains. 2 types of domains are there. One is discrete, the other one is finite. Okay, discrete in the sense is an infinite domain, which can have one state for multiple variables. And finite domain, this they have continuous states describing one domain for one specific variable. So ஒரு வேரியபிளுக்கு வந்து ஓகே ஒரு ஸ்டேட் வந்து நிறைய வேரியபிளுக்குனா டிஸ்கிரீட், ஒவ்வொரு வேரியபிளுக்கும் ஒவ்வொரு ஸ்டேட் இருந்ததுன்னா then each state belongs to a particular specific variable, and that is called finite, or you can say continuous. Sorry, I need to scroll only. So now talking about number first variable patachi, next we have the space, that is the domain patachi, then we have the constraints. So what are the different types of constraints we have? That is unary, binary and global. Okay, with respect to the variables only we have the constraint. Unary na simplest one, the value of a single variable will have the constraint. Okay, and then binary constraint na again it relates to variables. Okay, and x2 will contain a value which lies between x1 and x3. So that value should be between this. அதுதான் வந்து binary constraint, ஒரு ரேஞ்சுக்குள்ள தான் இருக்கணும். Okay, global constraint here and involves an arbitrary number of variables. N number of variables you can have. Okay, that is your global constraints. And some special type of solutions are there. Okay, solution algorithm which are used to solve the type of constraints. We have linear constraints. Okay, linear constraints they are commonly used in linear programming. Okay. So every variable which is containing an integer type of value, they exist only in the linear form. Linear order form, like one after the another and the other. And the next we have non-linear constraints, and they are used in non-linear programming. So every variable exists in a non-linear form. Okay, this is also known as preference constraints. And propagation, here 2 choices will be there. We can search for a solution or you can go for some constant propagations. So what is constant propagation? It's a special type of inference. It will be reducing your legal number of values for the variables. Okay, then there are local consistency will be there. One is node consistency, and then because the solution should be consistent. Okay, variable, domain, then we have this rules, and then the solution, consistent solution. So one is node consistency. When you say a single variable to be a node consistent, if all the values in the variable domain satisfy some unary constraints on the variables. Okay, unary means single. Okay, then R consistency, if every value in its domain satisfy the binary constraints of the variable, so lying between the ranges. Then we have this path consistency. So when you are going for the evaluation of the two variables with respect to the third variable, and it can be extended over another variable. So it has to satisfy all the binary constraints. So this is similar to your R consistency. Then we have, okay, consistency. See, this is a stronger form of propagation. So we have to examine the K consistency of the variables. Sometimes we use some constant like that. It is a K consistency. And what are the different CSV problems? So you have to know all the terms here. Okay. So what is that relation? All those things. Okay. Variable எப்படி இருக்கும், domain எப்படி இருக்கும், all those things. That is what we are seeing right now. And then the next one is, what are the different CSV problems we have? So we have the graph coloring problems. That is, neighboring should not be the same. And then Sudoku playing. Okay. And then what is that Sudoku playing? Sudoku playing na enama? Anyone played this? Sudoku playing na enama? Is it audible? Audible or not?
Audible, ma'am.
Audible. You reply இவ்வளவு ஸ்லோவா வருது. How many are they? 225. Yeah, it's not getting up on anything. Then downloading. Sorry, my mic was there in the mute. Yeah, how many of you know the Sudoku playing, ma? Anybody? Give the constraint in that.
Every row and column not repeating the same number, ma'am.
0 to 9 வரைக்கும் யூஸ் பண்ணிக்கணுமா? Diagonal is not considered, am I right? Diagonal repetition இருக்கக்கூடாதா?
Only vertical and horizontal should be.
Oh, vertical and horizontal. Oh, that is supposed to fill it. Have anyone tried this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you are able to solve that. எப்படி each இப்படி நீங்க வந்து இப்படி எது ஹாரிசாண்டல் ஆர் வெர்டிகல் இப்படி பாப்பீங்கன்னா, இல்லைன்னா அந்த பாக்ஸை ஃபில் பண்ணி ஈச் பாக்ஸ் அப்படியே ஃபில் பண்ணி போவீங்களா? Which is easier? Each one have their method of solving la.
Yeah, some will be preferring box and some will be preferring horizontal and vertical. So it's up to their
Okay, their logic of thinking. And we know this 8q problem, right? What are the constraints here? Constraint
We do it in both the ways.
enama?
We need to check it in both the ways, horizontal, vertical, and then the box. Then only we'll be getting the correct number.
Oh, and the box வந்து 1 to 9 தான் இருக்கணும், அப்படிதானே?
ஆமா, yes.
yes.
1 to 9 numbers has to be used. Okay, zero consideration கிடையாது, 1 to 9 தான், அப்படிதானே?
No zero.
Yes.
Okay, fine. And we know this n queen problem, right? What is the condition அதுல? 8, it is chess வந்து 8 rows and 8 columns. So you have to place a queen in each row and it should be in each column, but they should not clash. That's an 8 queen problem. All the queens has to
Yes,
be placed. Yes. What is the crossword? Crossword oda restriction enama?
the words should fit in
They
the
give the
correct.
length of the word they will give, right?
Yeah.
Okay, within that length, we have to identify that word. They will give the meaning. Nama the word எடுத்து அந்த word வந்து அந்த they'll say top to bottom, left to right or right to left அந்த மாதிரி கொடுப்பாங்க. Within that you are supposed to fill it up, right? அது ஹிந்துல தானே எப்பவுமே வரும் அந்த cross word. Have anyone tried this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes.
Then we have this Latin square. So you have to either in a game Latin square. In this game, the task is to search the pattern which is occurring several times in the game. They may be shuffled but will contain the same digits. So they have taken in the first, in the left hand side, they have taken 2, 3, 4. They have taken 2, 3, 4, 5. In the pattern, the repetitions are I'm not aware. Do anyone aware of this Latin square problem? I don't know what is the rule behind that too. 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, they are arranging those numbers in different order. Sometimes the pattern should not repeat. Then we have crypt arithmetic problems. So all these are examples of constraint satisfaction problems. Okay, they have the constraints. Even then you try to find the solution for that. Okay, what are the things we should know? What are the things, basic things we should be aware of? Variable terino, the domain terino, and then and the constraint terino. Right? So idellame we have learned. And the next one is what is it? Unification. 1 minute. People are listening or I'm the one talking simply?
Listening, ma'am.
Listening. Okay, fine. So unification now, it is a process of making two different logical atomic expressions identical. How you are making it identical now? By finding a substitution. So here unification means it is always depending on your substitution process. So you take two literals as input and make them identical using the substitution. Okay, so here we are making two atomic sentences and they are using this unifier. Okay, so here the example here is NGU for the unifying. K is X is a king, John is also a king. So how we are going to unify this? So this is going to be termed as both are kings, right? And this is taken as this variable, and John as a king is taken as this variable. So when both are king, they are unifying it as like this. This is your unification. So you have some unification algorithm is there so that you can make them unified. So it is a key component of a first order inference algorithm. So when if the expression does not match with each other, then it returns fail. So what are the variables we are substituting? That is called as MGU, that is most general unifier. So they're taking an example here. Okay. So they are taking these two expressions and they are unifying it. Okay. And then the examples, you kindly go through it. What are the conditions here?
Hello.
Unification. Yes.
Hello.
Continued.
இல்ல சார். ஆமா சார். எனக்கே சொன்னாங்க ஏதோ
Is it audible? So you have some conditions for the unifications. Okay, let us look into some basic conditions of unification. Your symbols must be same. Atoms or expressions with a different predicate symbol can never be unified. So when the expression has different predicate, we cannot unify it. So they should have some same. Symbols must be same. Number of arguments in both the expressions must be identical, must be same. And then unification will fail if there are two similar variables present in the same expressions. So these are the conditions for this unification. And this is your unification algorithm. Okay. So you can go through it simple words. So how you are going to implement this? First, you have to initialize your substitution set. First, it should be empty. And recursively, you have to unify the atomic elements. Then what you're supposed to do, you have to check for identical expression match. If one is a variable, other is a term, which doesn't have the variable, then you have to substitute it. Okay. Then you have that, and then how you are going to do is just add it. Then if both the expressions are functions, function name must be similar. Number of arguments must be the same in both the expressions. And so if you have a pair of atomic statements, you have to find the NGU, that is most general unifier. You have to find it. All these are examples. I don't know. I don't think so that they'll be asking for the examples. So how it is unified? What is a unifier? Okay, why the unification failed? So five to six examples are there. Okay, you can just go through it. Then what is the resolution in the first order logic? It's a theorem proving technique. Okay, that is proceed by building your refutation, that is proof by contradictions. So if there are various statements are given, then you can go for the resolution, and we need to prove the conclusion in those statements. So it is one of the key concepts in proof by resolutions, unification. That is the key concept in resolution. So where your unification can be applied now, it can be applied in the resolutions. You can see. Okay, you should know about the class, and then you should know about this conjunctive normal forms. So you have some resolution inference rules are there. Okay. Ma, kindly mute it.
அதே கலர் சூப்பரா எப்படி நல்லா இருக்கும் ப்ரௌன்லயே போடுவோம்
நல்லா இருக்கும்
அதான் ப்ரௌன்
அது பெருசா இருக்கும் பாருங்க
பெருசு அது பயங்கரம்
இதுல சைஸ் இருக்குதா
So when I'm giving mute all, even I'm getting muted, right? Still people are joining. Who is it waiting only? You are be able to allow easily, no? Anyone could admit, or I have to admit? So before you start talking, just check whether it is there in the mute or unmute. So this is your resolution inference rule is there. So how to resolve the given and what are the different steps for the resolution? Okay, first thing is conversion of facts into first order logic. Then you have to convert your first order logic into SANF. Okay, and you have to negate the statements which need some proof. That is proof by contradiction. Then you have to draw the resolution. That is the unification you have to draw. So this is an example here. So let us take this example because this is useful in your first, that is forward and backward chaining. Okay. So first one is John like all kinds of food, apples and vegetables are food. Anything anyone eats and not like this food, Anil eats peanuts and still alive. Harry gives. So these are different statements are given. So first step is we have to convert all the statements into first order logic. Okay, like this. You have to convert it. And then you have to convert your first order logic into CNS form. Okay. We have to eliminate all the implications and you have to rewrite like this. And you have to move the negation and then you have to rewrite. And then you have to unification na enna irukkanum similar variables la irukkanum. So rename your variables and then you have to eliminate all the essential instantiation quantifiers. Then you have to drop all the universal quantifiers and then finally you can use this. You can negate the statement to be proved. So this is how you are supposed to write it. Kindly go through it slowly. Okay. Example is given. Okay. So this is the explanation of the resolution graph. What they have given here as a graph. For that, this is the explanation, right? So how they have converted this? Everything is given. Since I'm scrolling and explaining it is difficult. If you want, you can take the printout and you can learn it. Okay, this is the unification in your first order logic. And I'll rush up these two, knowledge-based agent. So knowledge-based agent in your AI. Since I wanted you to learn all the 4 units thoroughly, I'm just focusing on this 4th unit, right? I'll be just telling you what you're supposed to learn in the 5th unit too, right? And one more thing, I have to explain it clearly that forward chaining and backward chaining. So before we are leaving for the break, okay, and let me complete this 4th unit, then we'll have a break, okay? So this is your knowledge-based agent in your artificial intelligence. So what is that intelligent agent? Who needs knowledge, okay, about the real world for taking the decisions and reasoning so that it can act efficiently, right? And they are agents who have the capability of maintaining an internal state of knowledge. They have some reasons for the knowledge, okay, and update the knowledge after observation and taking some actions. Okay, this agent, they will represent the world with some formal representation and they will act intelligently. Okay, this is your knowledge base. Okay, there are two main parts in this. One is knowledge base and the other one is the inference system. So what that knowledge base should be, knowledge base agent should be able to do. Represent the state, action, etc. They have to incorporate new percepts and they have to update internal representation of the world and they can deduce the internal representation of the world and they can deduce some appropriate actions. So this is the architecture of your knowledge-based agent. The environment, get the input from the environment, you have the inference engine. So you have to consider this, what is the learning? Okay, you have to update all of your knowledge base. Okay, and the inference engine will consider all this and then it will give the output. This is the architecture of knowledge-based agent. So this is generalized architecture. And the KBA will take the input from the environment by parsing the environment and the input is taken by the inference engine of the agent. It also communicates with your KB. Okay, it's because it has to look into the knowledge stored in the knowledge base and KBA will regularly update this KB by learning the new knowledge. So what is the knowledge base? It's a central component of your knowledge based agent, also known as KB. It's a collection of sentences and they're going to be expressed in a language which is called as knowledge representation language. That is KBA. They will always store the facts about the world. So why you are going to use a knowledge base? So this is required for let me check just a minute. Just check whether you'll be able to see this. Able to see the screen clearly?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, no? Is it okay? Able to see the screen, ma? Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. So what is the knowledge base? It's a central component of a knowledge base agent, also known as KB, collection of sentences. So they'll be expressed in a language which is called as knowledge representation language. So why you are going to use this knowledge base? This is meant for updating your knowledge for an agent so that they will learn with experiences, and according to the knowledge they have gained by learning, they will take the actions. Okay, this is about the knowledge base. Then we have the inference system. So what is that inference system? Deriving new sentences from the old one, that is your inference system. Inference means. So this will allow us to add new sentences to the knowledge base. It is about the world. Okay. Inference system applies some logical rules to the KB to deduce the new information. So this is where we are going to learn this forward chaining and the backward chaining. And then what are the operations performed by this? 3 operations: tell, ask, and perform. What is tell? The operation tells the knowledge base what it perceives from the environment. So what perceive from the environment, and ask, the operation asks the knowledge base what action it should perform, and perform the whatever action that is being selected. So this is an example for a generic knowledge based agent. So first it will tell the KB what it perceives. Second, it asks the KB what action. Then the third agent program tells the KB which action was chosen so that it can perform that action. So we have make percept sentence. This will generate the sentence setting that the agent perceived whatever it has been perceived at the given time. Then make action query generates a sentence to ask which action should be done. Okay, then last one is make action sentence. That is a query which action to be taken place. And the last one is whatever action being chosen that will be executed. Okay, make percept sentence, make action query, make action sentence. These are the 3 things. So there are various levels of knowledge based agent. First one is your logical level. First one is your knowledge level. This is the first level of knowledge based agent. We need to specify what the agent knows, what the agent goals are. So with all these things, we can fix a better behavior. Then logical level. At this level, we understand that how the knowledge representation of knowledge is being stored. And sentences will be in different logics. The logical level and encoding of knowledge into some logical sentences will be occurring. Knowledge அப்படியே என்ன பண்ணுவோம் logical sentences convert பண்ணுவோம். Then implementation level, there is a physical representation of logic and knowledge. So here the agent will perform the actions as per logical and knowledge level. And then what are the different approaches to design this? One is declarative approach and the other one is procedural. So here with the empty knowledge base, we can start declaring and we can telling the agent all the sentences which we want to start with. This is a declarative. Initial state declare we are going to approach. Then procedural, and directly will encode the desired behavior as a program coding. Declaration initial over step procedural already procedure directly will be there that you are directly going to execute it. So that is your procedural approach. And then what is knowledge representation? So, humans are the best at understanding, reasoning, and interpreting knowledge. So they know the things which is knowledge, and as the knowledge, they perform the various actions. But how machines do all these things? Well, that only comes under your knowledge representation and reasoning, because in AI, whatever knowledge we have, similar way we are making the machines to act, right? So we describe knowledge representation as the following. One is knowledge representation and reasoning, and you have to represent the information about the real world. Okay, so the computer will understand and it can utilize this knowledge. And it is also a way describing how we can represent your knowledge in the artificial intelligence. So what to represent? So as you know that object, okay, then we should tell about the events, that is the actions which will occur in the real world, performance, and it describes the behavior which involves the knowledge and how you are supposed to do the things. Then meta knowledge, knowledge about what we know. Right? And the facts are the truth about the real world. And the knowledge base, this is a central component of your knowledge base agent. So when we talk about the knowledge, there are different types of knowledge. Okay, that is declarative knowledge, heuristic, meta knowledge, procedural language, and structural language. So we have this declarative knowledge. So I'll rush up so that you can go through it. Okay, and we have what is procedural language, and then knowledge, and then meta knowledge, and then we have heuristic and structural knowledge. And what type of relation between your knowledge and intelligence? So whatever knowledge you have, that plays a vital role in your intelligence. So that only you can create a artificial intelligence. So knowledge plays an important role in demonstrating your intelligence behavior in your AI agents. So an agent, they will only able to accurately act on some input when there's some knowledge or experience about the input. So when I know what type of input I could give, so for that particular program, I could give that type of input, right? So if you met some person who's speaking in a language which you don't know, then how will you be able to act upon, right? So this is how we have the intelligent behavior. So when you want a system to do something, you should inform or command the system in the language which it knows. Okay. So on decision making here, which I'm sensing the environment and using the knowledge. Okay, senses the environment. Okay, takes the knowledge, and based on it, they'll make a decision, and then based on the decision, they'll perform the action. This is your AA knowledge cycle. We'll see this. Perception, learning, then we have knowledge representation, and then we have the planning, and then we have this. So that is, we have to have the knowledge representation as well as the reason what we have chosen, why you have chosen all that, then planning and execution. So this is how an AI system can interact with the real world. And these are the things which makes it intelligence. Okay. So what are the different approaches to your knowledge representation? One is simple relational knowledge, then inheritable knowledge, which is already existing. Okay, relational knowledge is some values will be given, based on that you can take the action. Then inheritable, already existing, from that you can make use of. Okay, and then the next one is inferential knowledge in the form of some logics. Okay, then we have procedural knowledge, like small programs we have. Okay, and what are the requirements for your knowledge representation system? One is representation accuracy, inferential accuracy, then inferential adequacy, and acquisitional efficiency. These are the requirements here. Okay, you can go through all the hints are given in it. What are the different techniques of your knowledge representation? 4 main techniques are there. Okay, one is logical, one is semantic network, frame, and production rules. So these are the 4 ways. So what is your logical representation? So it's a language. There are some concrete rules will be there with proportions, and they have no ambiguity in the representations. Okay, you can draw a conclusion here. So they have some syntax. Okay, so the syntax and semantics will be the syntax and the rules, how the sentences has to be formed. Okay, and then semantic in the sense the meaning of each logic, each sentence. Okay, so logical representations, 2 logics are there. One is proportional and one is the predicate. And there are some advantages in your logical representation. logical reasons you can do, and it is only when you know the basics, you can write all the programming languages. So logic. Okay, and the disadvantages are there. There are some restrictions and challenging to work, and it cannot be very natural. And next we have the semantic network. This is an alternative of this logic representation. We can represent our knowledge in the form of some graphical networks. Okay, so here two types of relations could be there. One is the relation and the kind of relation. So you can see here, these are different statements that you could have. Jerry is a cat, is a mammal, it is owned by Priya. Jerry is brown colored, all mammals are animals. You can see when you take Jerry, it is colored white, and you can say it is owned by Priya, and you can say Jerry is a cat is a mammal, and mammal is an animal. So this is how you can have it as a graphical representation. But whenever you draw this, you should have what type of relationship they have. It should be mentioned. So some drawbacks are there, and some advantages are there. The next one is frame representation. So it's a record-like structure. It's a collection of attributes, its values, so that it can describe the entity in the world. Okay.
Background
So here you
செமையா
have-
நான் செமையா இல்ல பேக்ரவுண்ட் தான் செமையா இருக்கும் உங்களுக்கு சவுண்ட் கம்மியா வச்சுக்கேன் இல்லப்பா சவுண்ட் அதிகமா இருக்கு
This frame is like a record structure. They consist of collection of attributes, values, and entity will be there. And they are the data structure. It will divide the knowledge into substructures. And they have stereotype situations will be there. So it consists of collection of slot and slot values. Slot will have a name and the values, and that values are called as facets. So the various aspects of slot is known as the facets, and facets are the features of the frames. They will enable us to put constraints on the frames. Okay. And we have a frame is also known as slot filter knowledge representation, because they are given in the form of slots. So they are derived from the semantic networks, right? This is an example here. Title. Okay, what is the general one? All the same. This is an example too. What is the slot and what is the filter? And then what is the advantages here and the disadvantages? Easily, you cannot easily process this. Okay. And last one, I think, is we have the production rules, concept, condition, and the action. It's given as a value pair. Okay. If condition, then action. Three parts are there: the set of production rules, working memory, and the act cycle. And the production rule agent checks for the condition. Condition exists now, then production rule fires, and the corresponding action will be carried out. So the condition part, the rule determines which rule may be applied to the problem. Okay, and the action part carries out associated problem solving steps. Condition satisfied, what are the action that has to be taken place? So that is called as, entire thing is called as recognized act cycle. And the working memory consists the description of the current state of the problem solving, and the rule can write knowledge to the working memory. If there's a new situation, then the multiple production rules will be fired together. This is called as conflict state. In this case, we have to select a rule from these sets. That is called as conflict resolution. So this is an example here, right? So each one has an advantages and disadvantages. So this is about your knowledge-based agent. So I think we can move into one more topic, and then we'll move into the forward chaining and backward chain. So far, we have seen about the knowledge-based agent, and this is all about your logic agents. Okay, sometimes the same thing will be repeated here. Just I'll rush it up. So this is the one for an example, that like the vacuum cleaner. So I think this is not needed. I'll send it to you, just go through it. So this is one important thing. Okay, kindly learn this. Sure, there'll be a question from this. Forward chaining or backward chaining. Just a minute, let me have some water and come. We'll complete this forward chaining and backward chaining, and then we'll go for a break, okay? Just 2 minutes.
அம்மாவா?
How many students are there, ma? How many students are there? Maximum?
227, ma'am.
27. Earlier it was 200, 230 something, no? It's reduced.
Yes,
So after the break, I'll take the attendance, and end of the class also I'll take the attendance, okay? Ask them to join. Okay. So first we'll look into this forward chaining and backward chaining. And kindly you also follow this, okay? Because it comes with your first order logic and all that. So it is one of the important topic, but before understanding this, we have to understand from where these two terms came. So we have seen about the inference engine, right? Only there we have this forward and backward chaining. I mentioned just forward and backward chaining. Here only we have the explanation. So this is one of the component of intelligent system in AI. It is going to apply all the logical rules to the knowledge base so that it can infer some new informations from the known facts. Getting some new informations, okay? The first inference engine was a part of your expert system. So commonly consists of two nodes, which are two modes will be there. One is a forward chaining, the other one is your backward chaining. So we have horn class and definite class. So what is the horn class? And these are the forms of sentences. It will enable your knowledge base to use more restricted and efficient intelligent inference algorithms. If you are using these two. And logical inference algorithm use forward and backward chaining approaches. And they need a knowledge base in the form of first order definite class. So what is the definite class? So it a class which is a disjunction of literals. That is exactly one positive literal is known as definite class or strict horn class. And what is horn class? Which is a disjunction of literals with at most one positive literal. Exactly one. இது வந்து at the most only one positive literal. It's known as horn class. So all your definite classes are horn classes. Because when you say exactly once, at the most one is there. So it can be even the horn class. So here, take an example here. Both are negations, right? P and Q. But one positive literal is K. So you can write like this is equivalent to P and Q implies K. Because it is an R condition. Okay, so it can imply. So first we look into this forward chaining. So it is also known as forward deduction or forward reasoning method. And when we are using an inference engine, so it is a form of reasoning. It will start with atomic sentences in the knowledge base, and it will apply the inference rules, that is your modus ponens, in the forward direction to extract more data until a goal is reached. So you start with the atomic statement. Okay, you have to go in the forward direction. You have to extract more data so that you reach a goal. Okay. So the forward chaining, it will start with your known facts. It will trigger all the rules whose premises are satisfied and add their conclusions to the known fact. Until the problem is solved, you have to solve this problem. So you have to start the known facts. Okay, then what are the properties here? It is a down-up approach. So it moves from the bottom to the top. That is the process of making a conclusion based on the known facts or data by starting from the initial state and reaching the goal state. So it is also known as data-driven. Okay, because we are going to reach the goal by using the available data. And forward chaining approach is commonly used in the expert system like clips and business and production rules. Okay, so this is the properties of forward. This is a bottom to top approach. And look, this is the problem. This is the same problem is taken for both forward chaining and backward chaining. Is it audible? People are listening. Important question this is.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So here you have a law that it is a crime for an American to sell weapons to hostile nations. Hostile means enemy nations. Okay, so in America, if an American sells any weapon to the enemy country, then it is a crime. Okay, so that person who is selling will be treated as a criminal. So country A is an enemy of America. It has some missiles. Missiles na என்ன மீன் அது? The tanker bomb லாம் போடுவாங்க அந்த மாதிரி. Okay, and all the missiles were sold to it by Robert, who is an American citizen. Okay, first வந்து law என்னன்னா Americans should not sell any weapon to the enemy country, enemy nation. So it is a crime. Okay, country A ன்றது it is an enemy of America. So it has got some missiles, weapons இருக்கு அதுல, சரியா? And how these weapons are there in that country na, they were sold by a Robert, who is an American citizen. அப்போ இவன் ஒரு crime பண்ணிருக்கான். அப்போ he is a criminal. Am I right? Because he has sold out all the weapons to the enemy country of A. So law படி பார்த்தா you should not sell any weapons to the enemy country. அப்ப இவன் crime பண்ணனால he is a criminal. You have to prove that Robert is a criminal. Okay. Now we are proceeding with the forward chaining. Okay. So what we are supposed to do is, to solve the problem, we have to convert all the above facts into first order definite classes. And then only we are supposed to use a forward chaining algorithm to reach the goal. Okay. So what we are going to do is, all the fact has to be converted into first order logic. என்ன possibilities எல்லாம் வச்சு நம்ம பண்ண முடியுமோ that you have to do it. First order logic. So we have to convert it. The first one என்னது? First rule என்ன சொல்லுது? It is a crime for an American to sell weapons to hostile nations. Okay. So we are taking three variables P, Q and R. P is an American, Q வந்து weapon, and next fact என்னன்னா R is an hostile. Hostile na enemy. Okay, so P sells Q to R. Okay, so with that we can conclude P is a criminal. Okay, he's an American. Okay, actually he should not sell the weapons to the enemy country. Okay, so P வந்து American, Q வந்து weapon. What this P is doing now, he is selling the weapons. To whom? R. R யாரு? Enemy country. So we can say P is a criminal. So country A has some missiles. So அதை வச்சு பார்க்கணும். So country A, it has own some missiles. Okay, va? So it can be written P is a missile. Okay, some sort of weapon. Okay, and this is how it could be written. And we will take a new constant T1. Okay, owns a T1. T1 is a missile. இது வந்து A is an enemy country. Okay, it is owning some missiles, weapons அந்த மாதிரி. ஓகேவா? நெக்ஸ்ட் வந்து என்னன்னா all of the missiles. So நிறைய ஃபேக்ட்ஸ் நம்ம தனித்தனியா எடுத்து we are writing it as இந்த மாதிரி லாஜிக்கா எழுதுறோம் நம்ம ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஆர்டர் லாஜிக்கா. All of the missiles were sold to the country A by Robert. ராபர்ட் தான் வந்து அந்த enemy countryக்கு எல்லா வெப்பன்ஸையும் கொடுத்தாரு. சரியா? How you are supposed to write? P வந்து missile weapons வச்சுக்கோங்க. And A is an enemy country. It is owning, it has got some weapons. How does it got it? It implies that Robert has sold this missiles to the country A, to the enemy country A. So இந்த மாதிரி implications நம்ம கொண்டு வந்துடணும். Next, fifth rule it can be, and the missiles la enna weapons. Okay va? An enemy of America is known as hostile. So enemy of America, அதை எப்படி imply பண்ணலாம்னா he is an hostile. Okay, and then country A is an enemy of America. So country A is an enemy of America, and then Robert is an American. Robert is an American. Okay va? So இப்போ வந்து நிறைய fact எடுத்தாச்சு. அந்த fact எல்லாம் first order logic facts எல்லாம் எடுத்துட்டு now we are going to convert that into a forward chaining. What is the first step? We will start with the known facts and all will choose the sentences which do have implications. எதெல்லாம் நம்ம implicationsல போட்டோமோ அதெல்லாம் எடுக்க போறோம். So we know that Robert is an American. Okay, இந்த implication எடுத்துக்கலாம். Then A, country A is enemy of America. அந்த implication எடுத்துக்கலாம். A owns T1. T1 தான் அந்த missiles. Okay வா? So T1 is the missile. Okay, இப்போ பாத்தீங்கன்னா T1 is a missile. Missile na weapons வச்சுக்கோங்க. A owns the weapons. So ஒரு country A வந்து it is having some weapons. Who is A? A is an enemy of America. Okay வா? So இது யார் மூலமா நடந்திருக்கு? Robert. So Robert is an American. Okay வா? So நமக்கு தேவையான facts எல்லாம் இந்த implications வந்து நம்ம we have taken it out. Second step வந்து will see those facts which infer from the available facts and with satisfied premises. So நம்ம இந்த rule 1, 2, 3 நிறைய rules நம்ம போட்டோம்ல, அந்த rulesல எதெல்லாம் satisfy ஆகுது, எதெல்லாம் not satisfy ஆகுது. ஓகேவா? எதெல்லாம் satisfy ஆகுதோ அதை மட்டும் தான் நம்ம என்ன பண்ண போறோம், iterations-ல add பண்ண போறோம். Not satisfying premises வந்து என்ன பண்ண போறோம், we are not going to add it. ஓகேவா? So அப்படி இந்த 7 rulesல பார்க்கும்போது which are being added னா இது மட்டும்தான். என்னன்னா இதை வச்சு we can say இந்த 4 மட்டும். So T1 or missiles பதில் we can say it as a weapons. ஓகேவா? A country has owns a missiles. So இதை எப்படி சொல்லலாம்னா Robert has sold the weapons to the country A. Who's the country A? Is an enemy of America. So இதை வச்சு நம்ம implications கொண்டு வந்தாச்சு. ஓகேவா? So final step 3 பாத்தீங்கன்னா you can say that. So இது வரைக்கும் நமக்கு வந்துருச்சா? T1 is a missile. So missile na weapons. Okay. And then ரெண்டுமே பாத்தீங்கன்னா Robert sells the weapons to the country A because A has got some weapons. Okay, but நம்ம தான் T1 வந்து இங்க weapons கொடுத்தாச்சுல, அப்ப இங்க T1 வந்து weapons தான் இருக்கும். Okay. Who is that A? A country யாரு? It is an enemy of America தான் நம்ம வந்து இப்படி implicate பண்ணி வச்சிருக்கோம். So with this you can say A is a country, enemy country. Robert has sold weapons to the country A. So with all these things, T1 another weapons. அப்போ Robert has sold the weapons to the country A. Whose country A is an enemy country of America A. ஏன்னா இங்க இருக்கல enemy country of A. So with all these reasons, facts, you can say that Robert is a criminal. Okay, well, so from bottom to the top, we are approaching. Hence, it is proved that Robert is a criminal using forward chaining approach. இது வந்து bottom up approach தான். சரியா? You have to add all the facts. Okay? அது அப்படியே நம்ம வந்து logical இதுவா first order logical எழுதிட்டு அதுல எதெல்லாம் நமக்கு வந்து satisfy ஆகுதோ அதெல்லாம் எடுத்துட்டு அந்த implicate பண்ணி finally we are supposed to reach the goal. Finally what we are saying, Robert is a criminal. Okay? Because he is an American. In America என்ன law? No American should sell the weapons to the enemy country. But he did it to the country A, which is the enemy country. So we are saying that Robert is a criminal. Okay வா? So இதுதான் forward chaining. அப்போ backward chaining எப்படி இருக்கும்? இதுக்கு opposite. Okay? backward deduction or backward reasoning method, which is when using in an inference engine. It is a form of reasoning which starts with the goal and works backward, chaining through the rules to find the known facts that supports the goal. இங்க கீழே என்ன ஃபார்வர்ட் செயினிங்னா நம்ம ஃபேக்ட் எல்லாம் எடுத்து நம்ம கோலை ரீச் பண்றோம். ஓகே, இந்த ஃபேக்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் இதெல்லாம் எடுத்துட்டு இது வெப்பன்ஸ் இருக்கு, வந்து எனிமி கண்ட்ரி, அதுல வந்து வெப்பன்ஸ் எல்லாம் இருந்துச்சு, அது வந்து யார் அனுப்புனா அதெல்லாம் வச்சு we say finally Robert is a criminal. இது வந்து forward chaining. With all the facts we have reached the goal. And a backward chaining now, from the goal we have to bring out, we have to reason it out. Why you are saying that Robert is a criminal? இதுதான் வந்து backward chaining. So இது வந்து top down approach, also known as top down approach. It is based on modus beyond inference rule. And backwards, the goal is broken into sub-goals, sub-goal or sub-goals to prove the facts true. That is a goal-driven approach. You have a list of goal decides which rules are selected and used. So, நம்ம goal decide பண்ணிட்டோம்னா, what are the reasons why we are saying that here in this example, Robert is a criminal? அதுதான் reasons identify பண்றது. They are using the game theory, automated theorem proving and all that. So here we are using the backward chaining. We are the same example and we are going to rewrite all the rules. P is the American. Q na weapons. So P sells Q the weapons. R is the hostel. This is the, so P is a criminal. And second rule the country A owns the weapons. P1 is a missile. Missile na weapons. So P will have a missiles. And A owns the weapons. Robert sells the missiles to the country A. Okay, so all these facts you are going to take. So this is the backward chaining. So first thing we have to start from the goal. What is the goal? Robert is a criminal. Okay, goal fact எடுத்து அதுக்கப்புறம் நம்ம என்ன பண்ணணும்? What are the different reasons why you are saying that? Okay, the second step. So only two things are there. Robert, criminal. So Robert is an American. Okay, Robert வந்து American தெரியும். So criminal Robert na, Robert is an American. Q வந்து weapon. Robert sells the weapons to R. Who is R? R is an enemy country. Okay, so in the facts la நம்ம கொண்டு வரலாம். We know weapons sell பண்ணாதான் அங்க வந்து criminal offense. அப்போ countryக்கு ஒரு country A countryக்கு he has sold to all the weapons. So அத நம்ம facts எல்லாம் கொண்டு வருவோம். சரியா? Extract the first further fact missile. So நம்ம வந்து missile, Q is the missile. அதுதான் the weapons. So in the hostile enemy வந்து R. So in the, that will be A will be replaced with the R. So some rules are being satisfied. Okay, they are taken. Either in the T1 is a missile. Okay, the country A owns the T1. ஏன்னா ராபர்ட் எப்படி யாருக்கு செல் பண்ணாங்களோ அப்போ they will be owning the missile. ஓகேவா? ஸோ இப்போ வெப்பன் எல்லாம் வந்து மிசிலா நம்ம கன்வெர்ட் பண்ணியிருப்போம். ஐ மீன் ரீப்ளேஸ் பண்ணியிருப்போம். ஓகே, ஸோ ராபர்ட் வந்து யாருக்கு to whom he has sold out the missile. அப்போ T1 மிசில்னா ஸோ ராபர்ட் செல் பண்ணா who will have that? The country A will have that. ஏன்னா நம்ம எல்லாமே வந்து அங்க இம்ப்ளை பண்ணி வச்சிருக்கோம். நம்ம மெசல் கியூன்னு சொல்றோம். மெசல் வந்து நம்ம T1 ரீப்ளேஸ் பண்ணிருக்கோம். ஓகே, the country is having missiles. Okay, the country is an enemy of America. இது ஆஸ்திரேலியாவை இதை நம்ம எக்ஸ்டெண்ட் பண்ண என்ன ஆகும்? A is a enemy country of America. அந்த இம்ப்ளிகேஷன்ஸ் எல்லாம் நம்ம அப்படியே இங்க எக்ஸ்பேண்ட் பண்ணிட்டே வரணும். இதை வச்சு நம்ம சொல்லலாமா ஃபைனலா? இது Q is a missile சொல்லலாம், இல்ல T1 is a missile. ஓகேவா? So country A has got a missiles. country A is an enemy of America. So இதெல்லாம் பாத்தீங்கன்னா can say A country enemy of America. A க்கு வந்து they have the weapons, given is the weapons. அப்போ இந்த weapons எப்படி இந்த A க்கு கிடைச்சது? Robert has sold it. So Robert வந்து American. இது ரெண்டு பார்க்கும்போது it is a crime in America to sell weapons to the enemy country. Okay, so he is a criminal. முதல்ல வந்து fact எல்லாம் வச்சு he is a criminal சொல்றோம். Backward chainingல he is a criminal. அவனை நம்ம ஏன் criminal சொல்றோம்ன்றதுக்கு அந்த reasons அந்த facts ஐடென்டிஃபை பண்றது. Okay, this is your backward chaining. ஏமா ஃபர்ஸ்ட் வந்து நீங்க அந்த லாஜிக்கல் ஃபேக்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் எடுத்து அந்த இம்ப்ளிகேஷன்ஸ் போடணும். போட்டுட்டு ஃபைனலா யூ ஆர் சப்போஸ் டு use the forward chaining as well as the backward chaining. So there are some difference between the forward chaining and the backward chaining. Start from the known facts and move forward by applying all the inference rule to extract the more data, and it continues until it reaches the goal. Start known fact solve பண்ணி known facts start பண்ணி we have to move forward in the inference rule எல்லாம் apply பண்ணி நிறைய data extract பண்ணுவோம் until the we reach the goal. Backward chaining வந்து from the goal we have to move backward using all the inference rules to determine the fact which satisfies the goal. So எதனால வந்து இந்த fact எல்லாம் வச்சு we can say Robert is a criminal. அதுதான் வந்து backward chaining. So இதெல்லாமே fact, அதனாலதான் Robert is a criminal. Forward chaining. So forward chaining வந்து down up approach. Fact வச்சு you are saying. And backward chaining is known as backward deduction approach. Forward chaining வந்து BFS யூஸ் பண்ணும், backward chaining வந்து DFS யூஸ் பண்ணும். And both will be applying this only modern code. The planning, design process, monitoring, diagnosis, all can be used as a task here, right? And this is how you have the difference between this tabular column madri, okay, between forward chaining and backward chaining. So that's it about forward chaining and backward chaining. So what is that forward chaining? What is forward chaining? Fact எல்லாம் வச்சு you are going to say the goal, reach the goal. Backward chaining, you have the goal, and in order to reach the goal, what are the different facts we have? அதை வந்து derive பண்றதுதான் வந்து backward chaining. Any doubt, ma? In the problem எடுத்து you can use it for your forward chaining and backward chaining.
மேம் பிராக்டிகல் இதை எதுக்கு மேம் யூஸ் பண்ணுவாங்க? ஃபார்வர்ட் செயினிங் தான்.
எதுமா?
ஐ மீன் பிராக்டிகல் சினாரியோல எதுக்கு வந்து ஃபார்வர்ட் செயினிங் யூஸ் பண்ணுவாங்க? லைக் எந்த டிபார்ட்மெண்ட்ல இது யூஸ் ஆகும்?
Yeah. It depends, ma. It depends, na. You can decide. And the fact that you can, anyhow, both are the same. இது மட்டும் தான் மாறுது உங்களுக்கு. Any problem la they've given, right? Problem la given, and first ஒரு logic apply பண்ணி சரியா you are reaching the goal, or from the goal you are saying about the facts. அவ்வளவுதான். அந்த மாதிரி சிச்சுவேஷன்ஸ் மட்டும் தான் நம்ம இதை யூஸ் பண்ண போறோம். எந்த இடத்துல நம்ம வந்து ஒரு கேம்ல நம்ம கோல் ரீச் ஆயிட்டோம்னு எப்படி தெரியும்? தெரியும் தானே? கேம்ல நம்ம வின் பண்ணிட்டோம் அப்படின்றது முன்னாடியே சொல்ல முடியுமா? சொல்ல முடியாதுல்ல. So there are situations where you need this.
ஓகே மேம்.
இது ஒரு டெக்னிக் மாதிரி வச்சுக்கோங்க. ஃபார்வர்ட் செயினிங்னா என்ன, பேக்வர்ட் செயினிங்னா என்ன, அவ்வளவுதான்.
ஓகே.
Okay, so it is 11:45. So we'll have a break for 10 minutes. Okay, and we'll join by 11:55. Okay, how many are there? Reduce 229 தான். முன்னாடி 233 something இருந்தாங்களா ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ்? Okay, before break, let me take the attendance. We can go for break, come back after 10 minutes. Kindly be active, ma. The fourth unit, first you should be learning about the proportional logic, other based on the first order logic. Then we have knowledge based, the other architecture, then overcome different explanations are there, and then we have constraint satisfaction problem. Then we have this, and the inference we have this forward chaining and backward chaining. சரியா? Fact வச்சு goal reach பண்றது forward chaining. Goal வச்சு when you are giving out the facts, then it is backward chaining. Okay, but you should be able to write all this in the logical formula. You should be able to write the sentences. அப்பதான் நமக்கு வந்து அதை implicate பண்ணி அந்த implicate வந்து satisfy ஆச்சுன்னா we'll be adding it. If the implication is not satisfying, then you are not going to add it. So the possible facts எல்லாம் நம்ம எழுதுவாங்க. Okay, yes. Somewhat you have understood this either forward chaining and backward chaining. Again, or twice or thrice, if you go through it, then you will learn it. Okay. Important question is that only time forward chaining or backward chaining. Okay. Then we move into this fifth unit. So again, to the same guy, I will be sending this fourth and the fifth unit notes. Have all of you received it? Yes? Yes or no?
Yes.
Who answered?
No, ma'am.
Oh, no? I don't understand. Why you say no?
No, I'm still in the notes to review, ma'am.
All notes receive agreena? I don't understand.
இல்லை எந்த ஒரு
Not even
எதுவுமே
any
ரிசீவ்
unit?
ஆகல. No, ma'am.
You didn't receive any?
No, 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 no,
Yes,
no.
ma'am.
இல்லையம்மா, அன்னைக்கு 2 பேர் வந்து they given their mail ID. To those 2 people I send the notes, ma. I think almost 3 units I've given.
இல்லை ஷேர் எதுவும் பண்ணல மேம்.
என்னம்மா?
குரூப்ல எதுவும் ஷேர் பண்ணல மேம்.
Ma'am, I have shared all the groups, ma'am.
என்னம்மா உங்களுக்குள்ள கான்ஃபிளிக்ஸ்? குரூப்ல எல்லாருமே இருக்கீங்கல்ல? அம்மா நீங்க பாட்டுக்கு நிறைய குரூப் வச்சிருந்தா எந்த குரூப்புக்கு யாருமா அனுப்புவாங்க?
I have sent 4.
என்னம்மா?
I have sent 4 groups, ma'am.
4 குரூப்புக்கு அனுப்புனீங்களா? அம்மா நீங்க எந்த குரூப்ல இருக்கீங்க? அம்மா சாட்ல போட முடியாது, வந்து எவ்வளவு லென்த்தி தெரியுமா?
Ma'am, let me check, ma'am. நான் செக் பண்ணி பார்க்கறேன்.
எதுக்கு மனுஷங்க? ஹலோ.
Yes, ma'am.
நோட்ஸ்
In WhatsApp group, ma'am.
ஷேர் வாட்ஸ்அப் குரூப்ல ஷேர். In WhatsApp group you shared, எவ்வளவு 3 unit. I have sent you 3 units.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Unit name இருக்காது, but you can identify எது unit.
Ma'am,
When I'm teaching, I'm taking the topics so that you can take.
ma'am, மேம் என்ன நாங்க உங்களை வாட்ஸ்அப்ல ஆட் பண்றோம். நீங்க அப்படியே டைரக்டா சென்ட் பண்ணிடுறீங்களா? சென்ட் பண்ணிட்டு வேணா குரூப்ல இருந்து வெளியே வந்துருங்க. இட்ஸ் யுவர் சாய்ஸ்.
Want me to send it in WhatsApp?
அவங்க நாங்க குரூப்ல ஆட் பண்றோம். நீங்க டைரக்டாவே சென்ட் பண்ணிடுங்க குரூப்ல. அதுக்கப்புறம் வேணா நீங்க வாட்ஸ்அப்ல இருந்து வெளியே வந்துக்கோங்க.
நான் இப்ப உட்காந்து வாட்ஸ்அப்ல ஒவ்வொரு டாக்குமெண்டா எடுத்து நான் உங்களுக்கு அனுப்பிச்சிட்டு உட்காந்துக்கணுமா? I don't want to get into your group.
நடக்காதுங்கிறதுக்காக சொன்னேன். ஏன்னா போன
Have you got it or not? That's what my question is. Did you check your mail? Yeah. அதாவது 2 people they've given the mail IDs. To those people I sent it, right? And நான் அனுப்பின உடனே he said ma'am got the notes அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு he has shared it. அது வந்து it is not according to your convenient time. நீங்க உங்க convenient timeல வந்து பார்க்கலாம். சரியா? he might have sent it in his convenient time. ரெண்டுமே வந்து மேட்ச் ஆகும்னு சொல்ல முடியாது. So you have to check the mail. ஏன்னா that is a new name. மெயில் இல்ல sorry he sent it in WhatsApp groupல. அப்புறம் இப்படி பிரச்சனை.
நீங்க யார் கமிச்சீங்களோ அவங்களோட மெயில் ஐடி ஃபோன் நம்பர் மட்டும் சாட்ல போட சொல்லுங்க மேம். நாங்க அவங்கள கான்டாக்ட் பண்ணிக்கிறோம்.
சரிம்மா, நீங்க அந்த மெயில் ஐடியும் அந்த இதுவும் கொடுத்துருங்க.
ஓகே மேம்.
போட்டு விடுங்க.
மேம் அப்படி இல்லைன்னா இப்போ அகைன் அந்த குரூப்ல தான் அகைன் ஷேர் பண்ண சொல்லுங்க மேம். சிம்பிளா முடிஞ்சிடும். இல்ல இப்போ அகைன் ஷேர் பண்ண முடிஞ்சிடும் சிம்பிளா அப்படிங்கிறேன்.
அந்த நேம் வந்து நீங்க ஷேர் பண்ணிக்கணுமா? புரியல.
நேம் இல்ல மேம், இப்போ அகைன் அவங்க ஃபைல்ல ஷேர் பண்ணாங்கன்னா இப்ப கேக்குறீங்கல்ல மேம், இப்ப கிடைக்காதவங்களுக்கு இப்போ கிடைச்சிரும்ல, அதுக்கு சொல்றேன் மேம்.
எஸ் எஸ் ஓகே ஓகே.
அதான் மெயில் ஐடியும் நம்பரும் கான்டாக்ட் நம்பரும் ஷேர் பண்றாருமே.
பண்ணிட்டேன் மேம்.
ஓகே.
இருக்காமா அவரோட மெயில் ஐடியும் கான்டாக்ட் நம்பரும்? மெயில வேணா மெயில ரிக்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணுங்க. அம்மா எல்லாமே உங்களுடைய கன்வீனியன்ஸ் கிடையாதுமா. you should have look into others too, right?
ஓகே மேம். சோ இப்போ நீங்க காமிக்கிற எல்லா பிக்சர்ஸும் வந்திருக்கணுமா மேம்?
See, you people are students, you should form a group and you should be as a student. நிறைய பேர் working same office இருக்கலாம், இப்படி நிறைய groups இருக்கு. So we cannot take it as a groupism right here. I should take it as a single class, MCA class. அவ்வளவுதான்
மேம். அந்த ஒரு குரூப் ஒன்னு இருக்கு, அதுல சென்ட் பண்ணிருக்காங்க மேம் ஏற்கனவே. அந்த குரூப் பேரு வந்து MCA A22 டிஸ்டன்ஸ் எஜுகேஷன். ஒரு கம்ப்யூட்டர் சிம்பிள் கூட போட்டிருக்கோம்.
நீங்க சில குறிப்பிட்ட குரூப்ல மட்டும் இருந்தா நான் என்ன பண்ண முடியும்?
இல்ல மேம், அதுல இருக்குதுன்றத நான் சொல்லிடுறேங்க.
குரூப் எல்லாருக்கும் காமன் குரூப்ல எல்லாரும் இருக்க மாட்டாங்க. சிலர் வந்து they need some privacy, அதனால they won't be in the group.
மேம் now itself I send all.
chatல போடுங்க, chatல போடுங்க எந்த குரூப்ல அது இருக்குன்னு சொல்லி let them take it from that. அம்மா என்னோட ஸ்டோரேஜ் வந்து full என்னோட ஜிமெயில். சரியா? நான் என்னோட
மேம் ஓகே மேம், நோ இஷ்யூஸ் மேம். இதுக்கு அப்புறம் கரெக்ட்டா எல்லாருக்கும் போய்டும் மேம். சோ ஃப்ரீயா விடுங்க மேம், பாத்துக்கலாம். இதுக்கு அப்புறம் அந்த ஃபைல்ஸ் எல்லாருக்கும் கரெக்ட்டா போய்டும். ஆமா, நீங்க ஷேர் பண்ணுங்க. பின் பண்ணி வைங்க யார் ஷேர் பண்ணாலும். ஓகேவா? ஃபைல்
மனோஜ் இன்னைக்கு ஒரு வாட்டி லாஸ்டா சென்ட் பண்ணுங்க ஃபைல்ஸ்.
மேம்
ஆல்ரெடி எடுத்துக்கோ.
Who is that asking for sending it again?
இல்ல மேம், நான் உங்க வாட்ஸ்அப் அன்இன்ஸ்டால் பண்ணிட்டு இன்ஸ்டால் பண்ணுவானே, எனக்கு ஃபைல் வந்தது தெரியல மேம்.
நிக்மா, it is your convenient whether you are using a WhatsApp or not. அவருக்கு வேலை இல்ல, சும்மா அனுப்பிச்சிட்டே இருக்கிறதுக்கு. இன்னைக்கு அனுப்புங்க, நாளைக்கு அனுப்புங்க, திரும்ப அனுப்புங்க.
மேம் இப்ப திருப்பி சென்ட் பண்ணிருக்காங்க.
அப்படியே looking into your convenience மட்டும் பாக்குறீங்க நீங்க. ஏற்கனவே அவர் அனுப்பிச்சாச்சு. I told I will be sending them அப்படின்ட்டு. அம்மா அன்னைக்கு it is மனோஜ் அம்மா. நான் அன்னைக்கு இமிடியேட்டா அனுப்பிச்சிட்டேன்ல கிளாஸ் முடிஞ்ச உடனே.
எஸ் மேம் எஸ் மேம்.
உடனே அனுப்பிச்சு உடனே எஸ் ரெஸ்பாண்டட் மேம் ஐ ரிசீவ்ட் இட் அப்படின்ட்டு. நான் வந்து எல்லாருக்கும் ஷேர் பண்ணுங்கன்னு அந்த ரெண்டு பேருக்கும் காமனா மெசேஜ் மெயிலே மெசேஜ் போட்டிருந்தேன், ஷேர் இட் டு யுவர் ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ்னு.
எஸ் மேம்.
மேம் ரிசீவ் ஆயிடுச்சு மேம். இப்போ திருப்பி சென்ட் பண்ணிட்டாங்க. தேங்க்ஸ். யா
எல்லாம் வாழைப்பழத்தை உரிச்சு கொடுத்தா கூட மிக்ஸில போட்டு அடிங்க. மிக்ஸில போட்டு அடிச்சு கொடுத்தாலும் எங்களுக்கு அப்படியே ஸ்பூன்ல ஃபீட் பண்ணுங்க வாய்க்குள்ள. வாய்க்குள்ள போட்டாலும் போகாதுன்னு தண்ணியை கொடுத்து முழுங்க வைக்கணும். இதுக்கு நோட்ஸே கொடுக்காம வந்து என்ன பண்ணுவீங்க? Just imagine how much effort I might have taken to take this class. அதுவும் 6 hours தான் டைமிங்கே மொத்தம். 9 hours. 6 session னா 1.5 hours each session. Put some effort. Hard work never fails. இதை விட நீங்க சர்ச் பண்ணி பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இதை விட ஈஸியான எக்ஸாம்பிள் நோட்ஸ் யூ மே கெட் இட். எல்லாம் எஃபர்ட்லெஸ் ஒர்க், எல்லாம் ஸ்மார்ட் ஒர்க் தான் இப்போ எல்லாமே. சரியா? ஹார்ட் ஒர்க்கே கிடையாது. Because when I say send your mail, everybody will be sending mail to me. ஏற்கனவே இந்த மெயின் ப்ராஜெக்ட்ல ரெப்படேஷன் ஆஃப் சென்டிங் த நோட்ஸ் டாக்குமெண்ட்ஸ் ரெப்படேஷன் அதில் அப்படியே. We are not getting any extra special storage for this. இனிமே வந்து டிஸ்டன்ஸ் எஜுகேஷனுக்கு தனியா ஒரு மெயில் ஐடி கிரியேட் பண்ணி அதை மட்டும் தான் யூஸ் பண்ணணும். Shall we proceed? How many students are there? How many students are there, ma?
216, ma'am.
260?
116.
எப்படி இவ்வளவு அதிகம் வந்தாங்க? 216. It is reduced. 216 தானமா? 216.
Yes, ma'am.
It is reduced. இன்னும் கொஞ்ச நேரம் கொடுத்தா will take attendance. Okay, now we are there in the fifth unit. So in the fifth unitல வந்து we should be learning about இல்ல நிறைய தியரி கான்செப்ட்ஸ் இருக்கும். அதுல வந்து நேவி பேஸ் தியரம் ஒன்று இருக்கு, மெயின் திங். அண்ட் தென் ஆன்டாலஜி இன்ஜினியரிங்னு ஒன்று இருக்கு. அப்புறம் பிளானிங் அன்சர்டனிட்டி. ஸோ ஆல் திஸ் திங்ஸ் ஆர் தேர் இன் திஸ். ஓகேவா? அந்த நேவி பேஸ் தியரம் இருக்கு. ஸோ ஃபியூ டாபிக்ஸ் will look into this. Kindly learn all the 4 units thoroughly. Okay? And then 5th unit, Navy based theorem and a few things if you are able to learn, you learn. இதுல வந்து ஒரு ஜென்ரலா இருக்கிற மாதிரி இருக்கும் அது. சரியா? First thing is you should know about this probability. நம்ம படிச்ச theorem தான் அந்த பேஸ் theorem. இதை பார்த்தோம்னா எதுக்கு ஞாபகம் வருதா? Base theorem. 1 minute. Have you learned this theorem in probability la? பார்த்த மாதிரி இருக்கா? At least it's not visible to you, right? Yeah, now able to see this? Probability that one of the disjoint partition. This is your Navy base theorem, okay? If the demand is true, what is the probability that one of these is true? So when a sample is disjoint union of events, so you should know what an event, what is a union, okay, and all that. And event A overlaps with this disjoint union, then the probability of one of the disjoint partition event is true, given A is true. So this is the base theorem. I'm not a mathematician, so only the theorem I could give you, but I can give you the example for this. Okay. So when you are supposed to use this base theorem, the based on it is the probability of an event based on the prior knowledge of the conditions, and the conditions must be related to that particular event. So when you know the conditions probability, then you can use the base theorem, and you can find the reverse probabilities. So you are going to use a tree diagram could be used. So how do we are going to use this base theorem? Various ways are there. You can use it as a Venn diagram, you can use it as a Punnett squares, but the easiest way is you can go for a tree diagram. Okay, there are different ways. The best one is the tree diagram. Let us take the example. Okay. So this is the tree given. Okay. So we'll take the percentage. 15% is innocent out of 100, and 85 is guilty. And in that innocent, the convicted are 0.20, and the innocent acquitted are 80%. In the guilty, convicted on the 82, and the remaining was 8.18%. Okay. So here, we have to answer the question. A defendant is convicted. Find the probability that defendant is innocent. Okay, he should be convicted as well as innocent. அப்ப நம்ம எப்படி போனோம்? Innocent, convicted. We have to consider only 0.5 and 0.20. Okay. So இத எப்படி நம்ம பேஸ் ரூல் அப்ளை பண்ணுவோம்னா, you're able to see this one. This is the base theorem. How we are calculating the probability, innocent and convicted. Can I maximize it some more? Then able to see this formula?
Yes, ma'am.
Convicted and intersection of innocent. Okay, it is 0.15 and 0.20. Multiply that. That should be divided by convicted and innocent, convicted and guilty. So when you say it is convicted, it comes in both innocent and guilty. That has to be taken as the denominator. In the numerator, what is asked? Convicted, innocent. That has to be taken at the bottom. So the answer is 0.04. That is 0.4%. Sorry, 4.13%. Okay, ரெண்டு இருக்கும். Okay. So this theorem is found with sensitivity, specificity, and prevalence. Okay, so what is all that here? So the prevalence is S has the disease. If they has the disease and if it is a positive test, then it is true positive, because a man is having a disease. You are saying that he has a disease, then both are true. So true positive. Again, the graph is given. Okay. 1 minute and 1 minute. Able to see this graph? Yes. Graph oda value solidama inge.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
But not.
Patient has cancer that is positive rate. அப்ப நம்ம true positive போடணும். அப்போ true positive னா இதோட true positive, okay, and then இது இந்த cancer patient ஓட true positive rate yes, and you are saying yes. Okay, that is true positive divided by the positive proportions என்ன வரும்? You are saying true, okay, it is true and you are saying it's true. இந்த ரெண்டுத்தையும் it is false but you are saying yes true. இந்த வேல்யூ நம்ம என்ன பண்ணணும், எங்கெல்லாம் இந்த பாசிட்டிவ் வருதோ அந்த ரெண்டுத்தையும் நம்ம இங்க கிளியர் பண்ணணும். So that will give you the probability of patient having a cancer, that is positive test. So இந்த மாதிரி நம்ம கிராஃபா போட்டுக்கலாம். So which is easier. So you can give this navy base in 3 formats. ஒன்னு வந்து இந்த மாதிரி கிராஃப், இன்னொரு இந்த மாதிரி ட்ரீ ஃபார்மேட்ல, இன்னொன்னு வந்து some square rate ஏதோ சொல்லி இருக்காங்க, and then other one is 3 methods are there, and which this tree format is easier. So you can take this example. Okay, that is okay, Venn diagram, Punnett squares and tree diagram. So they say easiest way is tree diagram. So you can take it in this way. So conditions போட்டு அதுக்கு எந்த values போட்டு என்ன எதுல probability நீங்க கண்டுபிடிக்கணும், according to the graph you can get these values using the navy base theory. Okay, and then we move into this ontology. I'll rush up this. What are the different topics we have under this? Okay. For the ontology engineering, defining terms in the domain and relations among them. So you have to give it in the domain classes concepts. Okay. And you can arrange the concepts in the hierarchy manner. So you can have subclass, superclass in that hierarchy. And you have to define about the properties and the attributes, and which have the constraints on the values, and defining the individuals, and you have to fill up the slot values. How tools and the techniques can be applied. So there are many questions on this ontology engineering. Okay. So in the historical context, what is ontology? So it is an intersection of artificial intelligence, philosophy, and knowledge representation and logic. So we know about AI, and we know what is knowledge representation and how we are presenting it in the logical format, right? And philosophy na enna? Philosophy na enna? ஒரு பழம் கூட ஒரு பெரிய பிலாசபர் ரொம்ப தத்துவம் பேசுறாரு அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்கல்ல, கரெக்டா? Who talks more about that? Okay. I just want to know whether the students are active or only the devices are active. How many are active in the group right now? The countable voices type.
Active, ma'am.
Active,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Active, ma'am.
Okay, so this is the historical context. So this is all the philosophical roots. Socrates, Aristotle has told, what Anselm has told, all these things. But in computer science, So in a computer science cross-disciplinary field with historical roots in philosophy, linguistics, computer science, and cognitive science. So you can, main goal is you can provide an unambiguous description of the concepts and relationships, so that can exist for an agent or a community of agents, so that they can understand, share, and use the description so that they can accomplish some task on the behalf of these users. In computer science, this is the philosophy. So what is ontology? It's a formal specification of a shared conceptualization. Okay. What do you mean formal? An ontology should be machine readable. Explicit, the types of concepts used and the constraints on their use are explicitly defined. You should say this is the concept and this is the rule, constraints they have, all that. And then shared conceptualization. Shared means they capture consensual knowledge that is not private to some individual but accepted by a group. It doesn't belong to an individual, right? But whatever one says, it is accepted by a group. So this is the ontology. What is the conceptualization? An abstract model of some phenomena in the world which identifies the relevant concepts of the phenomena. What is conceptualization? Here. The formal structure of reality as perceived and organized by an agent. So whatever vocabulary being used and the actual occurrence of situation. That is the language used and the situation. Okay, different situation involving the same objects. So different vocabularies will be there, but they share the same conceptualization. So Apple is shared by this. Okay, how it has been used. So this is the logic as a representation formalism. We have to use a predicate language because it's overwritten. Okay, leave of that. Logic as a representation formalism. So logic means simple language. Some basic symbols are being used. So far we have seen, right? And we have the predicates, choice of predicates. Okay, so we have a different choice of predicates. Okay, so we have different ontological commitments. So this is the ontological commitments. One is saying we need a pipe. One is asking whether it's a pipe. He doesn't know what do you mean by pipe. The agreement on the meaning of the vocabulary used to share the knowledge. So both should know what do you mean by a pipe. He is meaning it different and he is meaning it different, right? Okay, so some sort of agreement should be there on the meaning so that they will share the knowledge. What is the knowledge engineering? Application of logic and ontology to the task of building computable models of some domain for some purpose. This is given by John Sova. So we have different levels of granularity, right? This description of terminology is being used, vocabularies, the properties, the relations, the rules, everything is defined here by the ontology. The ontology-based information system. So you know what is ontologist, common vocabulary. That is the rules defining the use of ontologists, and then agreements among the companies. All these are your ontology-based information system. And by composing the component ontologies, mapping ontologies to one another and mediating terminology among participating resources and services. All these are the definitions given here. Then ontology also facilitates conversations among agents. Okay, they can improve the accuracy. So this is the ontology design process. Okay, so this is we look into the arrow mark, which is start from the left to the right. The recommend domain analysis, determine the scope, enumerate the terms, define the classes, define the properties, define the constraints, and add the instances. So you can start with the requirement and domain process. This is given, it's like a cycle. After adding the instance, again you can go for the requirement and domain analysis. Okay, but here it's not. It's given like arrow mark from left to right, but it's not given just like a cycle, right? But here ontology design process is a cycle form, right? So first we'll say what is the requirement, domain, and analysis. So we'll be talking about what is all this requirement analysis, performing the requirements, domain, and use case analysis. So for this, purpose in the software engineering, we need this ontology engineers for the groundwork and prioritize which is more important. Okay. And they have to make explicit what these things. What are the nature of the language and what are the architectural issues, and whether you want to use a traditional approach or with some extra knowledge, we can go for intensive approach. Number software engineering process is the traditional approach. Traditional use பண்ண approach இது waterfall model தானே? Yes or no? Software development life cycle traditional model. So the main goal here is to support the application. So they have to deal with changing assumptions, then hypothesis generation, system evaluation, and for supporting for the interoperation, then generation of explanations and standardization of terminologies. And so application requirements is you have to identify the vocabulary which could be used in the application, and you have to look into the hierarchical or taxonomic structure, and you have to analyze the structure queries and the knowledge about the need. Okay, then you should have some expressive power, then you should have some reasoning, and you should have this computational traceability. And in the domain requirement, you have to take into heterogeneity, all those things. And we have static versus dynamic ontology process, and either limited or incomplete knowledge. And what is the evolution of knowledge over time, and analysis and consistency, and use case analysis. All these are the domain requirements. And in the modeling, data model describes and ontology describes the world. Okay. And so you should know about all the resources and the relationships. We should have some objective, and for that you should have the resources and the relationships. And they won't be reflecting the definition in the databases or the use of the programmers. And then you should have some shortcut at the top levels. Okay, so that won't help. So you go for automation and mapping. The next is the design process. This is all the requirement and domain analysis. So determine your ontology scope and what are the competing questions for that. And the next one is considering the reuse. Reuse start from scratch when defining an ontology. So we go for reuse. So you can save the effort, you can interact with the tools, and you can use the ontologies that are being validated. Why do consider the reuse? So some standard vocabularies will be there, which is used for most of the domains. Okay, many of which are overlapping. So you have to identify that is more relevant to the problem and application issues. So you have a component-based approach, which is based on module facilities. So they all deal with your overlapping domains, and you should have some initial brainstorming with the domain experts. Then what to reuse? You can use your libraries, upper ontologies, general ontologies, domain-specific ontologies. And the next one is here, enumerate the terms. The first, in the unstructured list, you have to write all the relevant terms, which is going to appear in the ontology. Then chord sorting is often the best way. So write down each concept, organize them into files, then link the files together and do it again and again. And you can do it in the small group. Okay, that works best. So this is how we have this animals and plants ontology. How can we have this? First, we are writing all the terms, right? Next is here, defining the classes. The classes and the taxonomy. So a class is a concept in the domain. So you can say, when you say animal, cow, cat, and fish, they all belong to animal. The class of properties, father and mother and all that. So class is a collection of elements with similar properties. They have some necessary conditions for membership. Okay, there are instances of a class. So a particular farm animal, a particular person. Okay, all these are the classes. And now how we are going to organize the concepts, animals and plants. So you can say dog, cat, and cow. Okay. How they are mapping it. 1 minute. Okay, this we take it as grass. They are okay, like somewhat we have to map it, organizing the concepts. Let us see. Okay, extend the concepts. So take a group of things and ask what they have in common. Okay, so you can say plant and animal are living thing. Then cat, dog, cow, all these are mammals. So like that you can group it. And out of this you have to choose a main axis and the abstractions. So living thing. Okay, so you have to identify some relationship and it should be definable. Okay, and you have to explicitly name it. So this is the example here. So living thing, you can have animals, so it can be mammals or fish. Another you have some category. Living thing is also plant. Under plant you have trees, grass, and all that. So like this you can segregate. You have to identify the self-standing entities, so which can exist on their own, and you have to know about the modifiers. They can modify in other things. So you have to reorganize everything. Okay, so we have to reorganize with the, which is definable and with the primitives. And you can write the comments that help to clarify it. Okay, why you say this was a living thing, something like that. And we have class inheritance. So some classes will be organized into some class or superclass. Okay, hierarchies or classes. Later, if an instance of the subclass is an instance of the superclass. And then classes may also be viewed as set. An example here is mammal is a subclass of animal. Okay. Every penguin is a bird. You can say every instance of a penguin is an instance of a bird. And you have different levels of class hierarchy. You can have top down. So different modes of development, top down or bottom up or combination of both. And its class unit is always transitive. So A is a subclass of B is a subclass of C. So you can say A is a subclass of C. This is transitive. And you can have levels in the class hierarchy like this. Bottom level, top level, middle level like this. And then we have the next one, properties. It is interlinked with the previous step. Properties describe the attributes of the members of a class and the semantic of the subclass. So whatever A, whenever A is subclass of A, every property that holds A, B must also be applied to A. There are different types of properties, intrinsic, extrinsic, mass, relations, and all that. So they all are represented by data and object. And now you can modify it with the relationships, okay? Next, we have the constraints. So you have to identify the domain and the range, the constraints for properties. So when you say animal is living things, so the domain will be animal, range is living thing. Like this, you have to identify the domains. So anything is used as a special way, you have to write as a text command. And for definable things, you can write like this. So which properties can be filled in at the class level now? So all cows eat some plants, all cats eat some animals, all pigs eat some animals as well as some plants. So all members of the class like this eats. Eat alone you can take it as a property. You can write like this. So you have to fill in all the details. Check the classifier. Viewer is like that. And then you should have some closure axioms should be there. Okay, you can use it as the tool. So you have a open is closed rule reasoning. Open in the sense negation as contradiction, and closed means negation as a failure. So you can say that ontologies are not the databases here. Next, how we are going to add the instances. How do you create the instance? And now you're going to assign the slots for the instance. Okay, you have to fill the ontologies with instances in a separate step. So number of instances should be the number of classes. Again, go for the requirement and domain analysis. Okay, this is your ontology engineering. So till the different pages you can learn. Okay, so many pages are there. You can go through it, right? And just show it down. So these are not needed. So many examples with this in detail explain is there in it. Okay, so just learn about that cycle alone, and then we'll go for what is the planning here. So this planning will be with the little one. Okay, planning. Search versus planning, the language of the planning problems, strips operator, partial ordering planning, clips. So everything is given here. So what is that? So this is the example they taken here. Okay. And only simple things are given, but in another title, you have everything in detail. What is planning now? What we are supposed to do? Sequence of action so that you can achieve the goal. Okay. And there are problems with the standard search will be there. Okay. And this is an example. So you can have a huge branching and so many factors are being considered. Okay. So if you want to buy a milk, what are you supposed to do? So the task is get the milk, bananas, and the cordless drill. So when you go to a supermarket, can you get the milk? Yes. If you want to buy a parrot, what you are supposed to do? You have to go to a pet store. Okay. So many facts are there. So you have to deconstruct the problem. Okay. And you should have some planning agent similar to your problem solving agent. And planning agent is different from the problem solving agent. So this is the difference between your problem solving and planning. So this is the most famous solver task. I don't know this problem. Okay, if you want, you can go through it. Okay. And this is the planning based approach which is given for the robot control. Robot, how do they move? They have to move left to right, front and back, right? So you have to generate a goal to achieve and then construct a plan to achieve it from the current state. What are the actions? What are the different states? What is the goal? And how you are going to plan it. Okay. Many AA planners are in history. One is Stripes, okay, Abstracts, then Hacker and Note. So this is a Stripes based approach. Okay. And then example is given. And what are the challenges of AA and the planning? Okay. Regression and heuristic for the state service space, relaxation problem, how you're going to remove the negative effects, some extensions. And one example is air cargo transport. Okay, so all these are so many examples are given here, right? Okay, you can go through it and just first learn what is the planning is actually all about. Okay, and then we have one more topic, uncertainty. So what is that uncertainty? So I think there was a question, no? Uncertainty. Whether you are able to achieve the goal or not. That is the uncertainty. So what is the thing here? Yeah, AFT leave for airport 3 minutes before the flight. Will AFT get me there on time? So what are the things you have to look into about the partial observability of what is the road state, how the driver plans, etc. Then traffic, then flat tires, all those things you are supposed to look into. So what are different methods for handling your uncertainty? And you should be aware of the probability of occurrence. And how you're going to make decisions about under the uncertainty condition. And the syntax here. Okay, the syntax. Take about the atomic event and different axioms of probability and clear the probability. Then conditional probability. All these are mathematical part. Okay, then you have the inference by enumeration. Put it the tableau format. Here the examples are given. I think you can go through it. The same base, Navy base. This is not Navy base. This is base rule. Okay, next we can just a minute. 1 minute. Maybe it's a more 1 minute. So many things are there to learn in the 50 minutes. And then the other topics will be go through the ontology, then planning uncertainty, and then Navy base theorem. Okay, example I gave you, one example that you can make use of. Not much confident in the 50 minutes. Okay. So and stop my sharing. So what idea you got about this AI? Yes. Anybody? Only the 15 is little vague. The remaining units are okay. You can learn something from the 4 units. Was it interesting or was it vague? Yes. Can you share it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Anna? எதுக்கு எஸ் சொல்றீங்க? நான் நிறைய ஆப்ஷன்ஸ் கொடுத்தேன். எதுக்கு எஸ்?
Is it interesting?
Now, 1 minute. Just we'll see the question paper thoroughly so that we'll see what is happening over there. Who's waiting in the lobby? Wait a minute. Yeah. Really. Now just go through this. இந்த பார்ட் A questions பாருங்க. 2 mark questions. ஏதாவது பார்த்த மாதிரி இருக்கா?
Forward and backward chaining.
இதெல்லாம் முன்னாடி பார்த்தாச்சு. இந்த 4th and 5th யூனிட்ல பாருங்க. Constraint propagation. படிச்சோமா? Okay, difference between forward chaining, backward chaining. At least அதாவது ஞாபகம் உள்ளது இல்ல. At least okay, the topics are we have gone through அப்படின்ற மாதிரி பேஸ் theorem.
Yes, ma'am.
இப்ப லாஸ்டா பார்த்தோம்ல uncertainty inheritance இல்லது. அது once only you see no இன்னும் ஒரு தடவை 2 தடவை படிச்சீங்கன்னா and look into part B and part C. Proportional logic எழுதுனால true or false condition இருக்குமா? அதுக்கு ஒரு எக்ஸாம்பிள் proportional logicல வந்து sunny, humidity இருக்கு, rain இருக்கு, and then windy இருக்கு. So can we play golf? அந்த conditions பேஸ் பண்ணி yes or no ஆன்சர் கொடுக்கணும். So windy இருந்தா கல்ஃப்ல ஆட முடியாது, ரெய்னி இருந்தா கல்ஃப்ல ஆட முடியாது. For all other reasons you can play. அந்த இது ஒரு எக்ஸாம்பிள் இருக்கும் அதுல. அப்புறம் constraint satisfaction problem படிச்சோமா? எக்ஸாம் அது எந்த யூனிட் அது? 4th யூனிட்ல அதுக்கு தான் இதெல்லாம் பார்த்தோம்ல, கிராஃப் தியரி, 8 pin ப்ராப்ளம், சுடோக்கு அப்புறம் பார்த்தோமேமா அதுல. ஓ காட், என்னாச்சு?
எஸ் மேம் இப்பதான் பார்த்தோம்.
ஆஹா, இதை பார்த்தோமா நம்ம? கன்சிஸ்டன்சி எத்தனை, இது எல்லாமே கன்ஸ்ட்ரெயின்ட் சாட்டிஸ்ஃபேக்ஷன் ப்ராப்ளம் இதெல்லாம். கிராஸ்வேர்டு, சுடோக்கு, கிராஃப் கலரிங் எல்லாமே 8 pin ப்ராப்ளம். எஸ். அடுத்து கொஸ்டின் பிடிஎஃப் இருந்துச்சு. தென் algorithm for classical planning. ஏதாவது ஒன்று எழுதலாம். இல்லை எனி 3 நம்ம எழுதலாம்ல. இன்டெலிஜென்ட் ஏஜென்ட் அண்ட் என்விரான்மெண்ட் அந்த டிசைன் பார்த்தோம்ல, அதுல A-star algorithm எழுதலாம், min-max search பண்ணலாம், இப்போ constraint satisfaction. ஸோ இது 4மே அட்டன் பண்ணலாமே. இது ஒரு தடவை நமக்கு கொஸ்டின். பிளானிங் கொஞ்சம் லேர்ன் பண்ணா வரும். இதெல்லாம் பார்ட் B ல ரெண்டுமே பண்ணலாம்ல. நேவி பேஸ் ஒரு எக்ஸாம்பிள் கொடுத்தேன்ல. எஸ் ஆர் நோவா? people are so hungry and tired.
Yes, ma'am.
So இப்போ என்னோட content வச்சு will you be able to answer this question paper? இதே question paper வராது. Example, I got only one question paper from the previous year students. Why I'm asking is whether you are able to think that my notes is somewhat useful for you. அதுதான் அந்த question paper function. somewhat okay தானே? அட்லீஸ்ட் பாஸ் மார்க் எதுவும் எடுக்கலாம்ல நீங்க கொஞ்சம் படிச்சா. So try to learn thoroughly in the 4 units ma. இந்த 5th யூனிட்ல வந்து அந்த பேஸ் தியரம், அந்த நேவி பேஸ் தியரம் இருக்குல்ல, பேஸ் தியரம் அண்ட் நேவி பேஸ் தியரம், அது ஒரு எக்ஸாம்பிளோட படிச்சுக்கோங்க. தென் ஆன்டாலஜி பத்தி கொஞ்சம் படிங்க. பிளானிங் அண்ட் சர்டனிட்டி, இந்த 5 டாபிக் மட்டும் கொஞ்சம் படிச்சுக்கோங்க. ஓகேவா?
ஓகே மேம்.
That you can score to some extent, some marks you can score. So today I'll be sending this 4th and 5th unit. The same person can answer. Okay, so they will be sending it to you. Okay, you can get it from them. Any other queries you have?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Ma'am, who will set the question papers, ma'am? Who will set the question paper, ma'am?
நல்ல கேள்வி. But who will answer? யார் क्वेश्चन பேப்பர் செட் பண்ணாங்க? எழுத போறது யாருமா? Who is going to write it?
Yeah.
இது வந்து யூனிவர்சிட்டி क्वेश्चंस, ஓகேவா? And we don't know யூனிவர்சிட்டிக்கு யார் panel of members னு. It can be within the university. Most of what I have heard is between the universities தான். ஏன்னா I have set questions இந்த மாதிரி பெரிய யூனிவர்சிட்டி, ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கும் அது. ஓகே.
Okay.
So we can always set the question. Who has set the question paper is okay. Suppose நிறைய பேருக்கு இந்த ஏஐ சப்ஜெக்ட்ஸ் தெரியுமா தெரியாதான்னு தெரியாது. ஸோ மோஸ்டா என்ன பண்ணுவாங்கன்னா அந்த சிலபஸ் இருக்குல்லமா, சிலபஸ்ல என்ன டேர்ம்ஸ் இருக்கோ அதுல வந்து அக்கார்டிங் டு த மார்க்ஸ் they can get. பேப்பர் வெல் அப்படின்னா ஓரளவு தெரிஞ்சது, ஓகே இந்த they should be knowing this அப்படின்னு ஏதாவது தெரிஞ்சிச்சுன்னா they will set the question. இந்த டாபிக்கு இந்த கான்செப்ட் கட்டாயமா தெரிஞ்சுக்கணும் அப்படின்ற மாதிரி they will set the question papers. ஓகேவா? அதனால you have to be prepared. So what I'm telling is 4 units you learn it thoroughly. உங்க நம்ம 5th unit தானே ஒரு மாதிரி வேகா இருக்கு. அதுலயும் முக்கியமா இந்த ஒரு 4 டாபிக்ஸ் வந்து at least to write some stories. சரியா? You learn. And don't ever think that just whatever you write you score marks. சரியா? அந்த மாதிரிலாம் கிடையாது. People go through it. ஏன்னா எக்ஸ்பர்டைஸ் வந்து evaluate பண்ணும்போது they know it. இந்த மாதிரி எழுதுறாங்க, லைக் பார்த்தோன்னே எங்களுக்கு தெரிஞ்சிடும் அது. Here and there if you look into the எப்படி இந்த +2ல கீவேர்ட்ஸ் வச்சு மார்க் போடுறாங்க அந்த மாதிரி, and related terms இருந்ததுன்னா ஓகே something you have learned அப்படின்னு சொல்லி they will give you marks. ஓகேவா? அதனால write some related content.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, everyone knows that classes. அதனால they will think என்ன கிளாஸ் எடுத்திருக்காங்க அப்படின்னு. So whatever information I've given, apart from that, if you find anything easier and useful related content, then you can learn that also, right? So look for the prescribed book. அது இருக்கான்னு பார்க்கலாம். I'm no way connected to you because I'm working in a reputed institute. Okay, and for the IDE as guest lectures we come and handle the classes. Usually it will be regular classes in the university. Okay, ba? Chalk and talk தான் இருக்கும். Okay, but here nowadays it is more and people prefer online class because they cannot come and attend the class. இது வந்து ரொம்ப ஸ்ட்ரிக்டா இருப்பாங்க. அட்டெண்டன்ஸ் இருந்தா தான் you can go for the lab அந்த மாதிரி எல்லாம் இருக்கும். otherwise you are supposed to read. அதனால ஒப்பீனியன் கேட்கும் போது ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் they preferred online classes, so we are taking online classes. அவ்வளவுதான். அவங்களோட எக்ஸாம் எப்போ, where you will have the exam, அப்புறம் எப்படி எழுதணும், who will set the question, everything is I'm out of the box. I don't know anything. Anything you look into the website or in the university la you have IDE la examination section ஒன்னு இருக்கு. There you can have your queries, or else and the third floor la you have a coordinator, Dr. Sashikala, and she has some few people to answer all these queries. அவங்களுக்கு கிட்ட தெரியும், but mostly they don't know about these regular classes தான் they schedule it, but examinationsலாம் வந்து யூனிவர்சிட்டி வந்து டிசைட் பண்றதுதான் when you have the exams. அடிக்கடி வெப்சைட்ஸை பாருங்க, ஓகே? வெப்சைட்ல you will be knowing all this. Suppose if anyone come to know about any information na kindly share in the group. First semester நீங்க எப்ப எழுதுனீங்கன்னு எனக்கு தெரியாதே. How could I say when is the first semester result? அவ்வளவு ஆர்வமா இருக்கீங்க.
Yes, ma'am.
MCA is where I am not aware of any of the information. They'll tell you that you are going to handle AI paper. They've given the schedule and they have created this is a team meeting. We cannot come in a personal. Okay, va? 1 minute, I'll take the attendance. Just wait. Okay, any other queries you have? Anything regarding
அப்புறம் யூனிவர்சிட்டியில வந்து லேப்ஸ் எல்லாம் வந்து ஒர்க்கிங் டேல வைக்கிறாங்க மேம். நாங்க ஒர்க் பண்றதுனால அதெல்லாம் அட்டென்ட் பண்றது கஷ்டமா இருக்கு. ஆல்ரெடி நாங்க ஸ்டூடெண்ட் சைட்ல இருந்து query வச்சிட்டோம். நீங்க ஏதாவது உங்க சைட்ல இருந்து ஏதாவது சொல்ல முடிஞ்சா சொல்லுங்க மேம் ஹெச்ஓடி கிட்ட.
No, if you are there and staffs will be there. When I'm working in the shift 2 na shift 1 la இந்த காலேஜ் ஸ்டாஃப்ஸ் ஃப்ரீயா இருக்காங்களா அவங்க வருவாங்க. இப்ப இந்த ஆஃப்டர்நூன் டைம்னா ஆஃப்டர்நூன் டைம் இந்த காலேஜ் ஃப்ரீயா ஒர்க் பண்ணி ஷிஃப்ட் இல்லாம இருக்காங்களா அவங்க வருவாங்க. அவ்வளவுதான். See, hardly you are not for coming for the semesters. உங்களுக்கு எப்படி கிளாஸஸ் நடந்தது? லேப் 3 days of lab அப்படிதானே நடந்துச்சு. 4th day you have this examination.
3 days class 1 day exam மேம். ஆனா அந்த 4 டேமே வந்து எங்களுக்கு ஒர்க்கிங் டேலே சில ஸ்லாட் வந்து வந்துச்சு மேம்.
No other go மாதிரி ஒண்ணுமே பண்ண முடியாது. எவ்வளவு பேட்சஸ் போடணும் தெரியுமா உங்களுக்கு? MSc இருக்கு, BCA
2 daysல முடிச்சிடலாம் மேம். ஆனா half day வச்சு 4 day எடுக்கறாங்க மேம்.
half day வச்சு
4 day
லீவ். See, you want to get a degree, okay? You have to sacrifice something. You want to gain something, right?
work இருக்கும். 4 days லீவ் கேட்டா தர மாட்டேங்கறாங்க மேம். அப்போ கரண்ட் வர்க்க வந்து டிராப் பண்ணிட்டு வர வேண்டியதா இருக்கு.
அதுவும் அந்த இஷ்யூஸை நாங்க பார்த்தோம் தான் லேப்ல. என்ன பண்ண முடியும் நாங்க?
கிட்ட சொன்னாலும் அவங்களும் புரிஞ்சுக்க மாட்டேங்கிறாங்க. நெக்ஸ்ட் டைமும் இதே மாதிரி தான் வரும்ன்ற மாதிரி சொல்றாங்க. அதுதான் வந்து ஃபேக்கல்டி சைடுல இருந்து உங்க சைடுல இருந்து ஏதாவது
கொஞ்சம் யோசிச்சு பாருங்க. How could you schedule it? எவ்வளவு people இருக்காங்க, எவ்வளவு ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் தெரியுமா உங்க பேட்சஸ்ல? MCA ல since it has become 2 years and online la anyhow you could pass and get a degree ன்னு சொல்லிட்டு many have joined. சரியா? ஒரு செமஸ்டர்ல படிக்க வேண்டியது அந்த limited exercises அதுவும் எக்ஸசைஸ் உங்களுக்கு கொடுத்துறாங்க. Just 4 days you are going to hard work, somehow you have to manage. Few things na ரொம்ப genuine case, ரொம்ப எமர்ஜென்சினா they are permitting there. அங்க அவங்களுடைய ஆப்ஷன்ஸ் தான் அது. இல்ல நீங்க பேட்ச் மாத்திக்கோங்க when you are comfortable அந்த மாதிரி. சில பேட்சஸ் சாட்டர்டே சண்டேயோட சேர்த்து வரும். அப்படியே சில பேட்சஸ் வந்து எல்லாமே வீக் டேஸேவா வரும். What to do? ஐடி வேற வழியே நம்ம ஷெட்யூல் பண்ணுங்க. நீங்க அகாடமிக் இயர் பிளஸ் அகாடமிக் இயர்னா வந்து யூ ஆர் ஃப்ரம் அந்த ஜூன்ல இருந்து அடுத்த ஏப்ரல் வரைக்கும், சரியா? ஆனா இன்னொன்னு கேலண்டர் இயர்னு ஒண்ணு இருக்கு. கேலண்டர் இயர்னா ஜனவரி டு டிசம்பர். அவங்க மேல ஒரு எக்ஸாம் எழுதுவாங்க, டிசம்பர்ல ஒரு எக்ஸாம் எழுதுவாங்க. அவங்களுடைய கிளாஸுக்கு வந்து இப்படி ஷெட்யூல் ஆகும். எப்படி ஷெட்யூல் பண்ணுங்க இவ்வளவு பீப்புளுக்கும் இந்த ஆன்லைன் கிளாஸஸ், லேபு எல்லாமே? Always don't look from your side, other side கொஞ்சம் யோசிங்க.
இப்போ
Distance
வந்து
education
ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் ஹேண்டில் பண்ண முடியலன்னா அதர் காலேஜஸ் கூட டைப் வச்சு லேப் கொஞ்சம் இன்க்ரீஸ் பண்ணலாம்ல மேம்?
these ideas I cannot suggest anything. All your queries can be posted in that website. அதுக்கு ஏதாவது ஆப்ஷன்ஸ் இருக்கா பாருங்க. You try to represent. Is it possible? இந்த மாதிரி சொல்யூஷன் இருந்தாலும் you take to them examination செக்ஷன்ல சொல்லுங்க.
ஓகே ஓகே.
ஏன்னா எக்ஸாமினேஷன்ல என்ன சொல்றாங்க, ஷெட்யூல் த கிளாஸஸ் இந்த மாதிரி அந்த மாதிரி அவங்க சொன்னாங்கன்னா அதுக்கேற்ற மாதிரி இவங்க ஷெட்யூல் பண்ணுவாங்க, அவ்வளவுதான். You have examination section there you can go and talk. வேற என்ன பண்ணலாம்? வாட் இஸ் தி அதர் ஆப்ஷன்? வாட் இஸ் தி சொல்யூஷன் ஃபார் திஸ்? இவ்வளோ பேருக்கும் ஷெட்யூல் பண்ணி சி மெயின்லி ஃபார் தி ஒர்க்கிங் பீப்புள், அவங்களால காலேஜுக்கு வந்து படிக்க முடியாதுக்காக தான் இந்த மாதிரி. அதுலயும் நீங்க வந்து இது கேட்டீங்கன்னா எப்படி சொல்லுங்க பார்ப்போம். ஆன்லைன் கிளாஸஸ் இல்லாம இப்ப ரெகுலர் கிளாஸ்னா ஷியோர் யூ மஸ்ட் கம் டு தி யூனிவர்சிட்டி. அப்ப என்ன பண்ணலாம்? லேபுக்கும் கேட்கணும், தேரிக்கும் கேட்கணும். See, the old rule is different. இப்ப அந்த கொரோனா வந்த பிறகு everything has changed. 75 marks வந்து you'll be writing exam, 25 marks வந்து internal. அந்த 25 internalனா we have to make you submit one assignment and one test. Assignment 10 mark, test 15 marks. அந்த 10 and 15 சேர்த்து வந்து 25 marks. அதை ஆட் பண்ணுவோம் நம்ம. internal marks we have to give. எந்த ஸ்டாஃப் எப்ப என்னைக்கு டெஸ்ட் வைக்கிறாங்க கிளாஸ் ஆகாம they have to keep a test. அன்னைக்கு டெஸ்ட் இன்னைக்கு நீங்க ஆப்சென்ட்னா ரீடெஸ்ட்லாம் கிடையாது. இதுல now we are so convenient and so comfortable, you don't have any test. 100 marks அப்படியே ஃபுல்லா எழுதுறீங்க. சொல்லுங்க என்ன மாதிரி தான் நம்ம இது கொண்டு வரலாம், டைல்யூட் பண்ணலாம். பட் யூ நீட் a degree. So anything, any queries you have now, you can leave it there in the examination section போய் கேட்டு பாருங்க. சரியா? யார்கிட்ட ரெப்ரசென்ட் பண்ணணுமோ if possible you just represent it. I don't know whether you'll be getting a positive reply like this. வேற எந்த மாதிரி கிளாஸஸ் ஹேண்டில் பண்ணலாம் சொல்லுங்க கொஞ்சம். just imagine how many are there. So உங்க கிளாஸ்ல எக்ஸாம்பிள் இன்னைக்கு அட்டென்ட் பண்ணவங்களே 250 கிட்ட, 230 230 கிளாஸ்க்கு கூட we don't have classrooms. We have taken classes in the corridor. Most of the classes, very few classes we have the rooms there. IDE regular classes. அப்ப strength 100 na 100 students க்கு chair போட corridorல facilities கிடையாது. When people more number, இப்பலாம் வந்து since it is 2 years, they have the hope that they can get a professional degree MCA. அதனால many are joining. But they cannot give it to the other colleges. Other colleges Saturday Sunday is a holiday. Regular time they have shift 1 and shift 2. எப்படி உங்களுக்கு classrooms தருவாங்க? இப்போ உங்களுக்கு ஆஃப்லைன் எக்ஸாமினேஷன் அவங்களுக்கு எக்ஸாம் வெக்கேஷன் டைம்ல உங்களுக்கு எக்ஸாமினேஷன்ஸ் போடுவாங்க. அத எல்லா சைடும் பார்க்கணும். நம்ம ஆஃபீஸ்ல லீவ் கொடுக்க மாட்டேங்கிறாங்க மட்டும் பார்க்க கூடாது. அதான் when you are doing a degree na and எல்லா லீவையும் வந்து you have to hold it இந்த பர்பஸ்க்காக யூஸ் பண்ணிக்கணும். These are genuine reasons. Some people accepted and போறாங்க. We were allowing them 1 hour earlier. Emergency meeting இருக்கும் கிளாஸஸ்ல we'll allow them to sit out and do the meeting. எல்லாமே all possibilities how we can help you, we are doing it. பட் உங்க ஆஃபீஸ்ல உங்களுக்கு லீவ் தர மாட்டேன்றாங்க. அது ஒரே பிரச்சனை உங்களுக்கும் உங்க ஆஃபீஸ்க்கும் தான். நிறைய பேர் ட்ரெயினியா இருக்காங்க, ரொம்ப கஷ்டப்பட்டாங்கலாம் லேப்ல வரும்போதெல்லாம். என்ன பண்ண முடியும் சொல்லுங்க? அந்த பெர்மிஷன் டைம் பாருங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு how far we could help, but certain, but if we permit people will take it as granted. And the 1.5 days கொஞ்சம் யோசிச்சுன்னா half 3.5 days. Then how do you expect to give a degree, professional degree? நீங்க ஒர்க் பண்ண முடியும். கடைசியில ப்ரோக்ராமும் கொடுத்தாச்சு, எல்லாமே எடுக்க வச்சாச்சு. Simply you're supposed to learn in 1 night and complete the paper instead of learning as a semester or even a week. Yes? Can I understand what I'm saying? Difficulty is there in arranging classes. அதான் Yes, my any other queries? So kindly contact. Whatever information I could give, I have given. Any other queries you have? Shall we wind up? All the best, learn well, and kindly send it to my mail ID, the question paper after writing your examination, so that like how I helped you. Some students send it to me, right? It was useful to just to look at a glance of it. Might be helpful to your juniors. Okay. Any other queries you have?
No, ma'am.
சொல்லுங்கம்மா. Yes. சொல்லுங்க Manoj, you are trying to say something.
No, ma'am.
Not audible, ma.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Nothing, ma'am.
Nothing. Shall we leave the meet?
Yes, ma'am.
Anything if you want to know, just visit the university, right? If I know something, I'll answer. Okay. All the best, ma. Yes, you can leave the meet. And the remaining. Yes,
First semester exam result எப்ப மேம்?
விடிய ராமாயணம் கேட்டு நீங்க எப்ப எக்ஸாம் எழுதுனீங்கன்னு எனக்கு தெரியாது. பட் ஆனா இப்போ டிஸ்டன்ஸ் எஜுகேஷன் வேல்யூவேஷன்ஸ் போயிடுச்சுமா. இப்பதான் முடிஞ்சது. ஓகேவா? அதுல போர்ட் ஆஃப் ஸ்டடீஸ் சீக்கிரமா வச்சுட்டு they will publish the result. எனக்கு தெரிஞ்சு இந்த ஃபர்ஸ்ட் செமஸ்டர் ப்ராக்டிக்கல் பேப்பர்லாம் முடியல. சில கிளாஸஸ் வந்து ப்ராக்டிக்கல் பேப்பர் முடியாததுனால அவங்களுக்கு அந்த இது பெண்டிங்ல இருந்தது. ஸோ ப்ராக்டிக்கல் எக்ஸாமினேஷன்ஸும் முடிச்சாச்சு. ஸோ வெரி சூன் வில் பி ரிசீவிங் ஐ திங்க் ஸோ. நீங்க பண்ண ப்ராக்டிகல்ஸ் வந்து ஃபர்ஸ்ட் செமஸ்டர் ப்ராக்டிகல்ஸா? யூ ஆர் இன் செகண்ட் இயரா ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இயரா? 22னா செகண்ட் செமஸ்டர். அப்போ அந்த ஃபர்ஸ்ட் செமஸ்டருக்கு லேபை தான் இப்ப முடிச்சீங்க, கரெக்டா?
ஆமா மேம். C++ database. Yes ma'am.
C++ம்
Database. அந்த
Visual Studio.
Visual Studio.
Visual Studio C# வச்சா இல்ல VB வச்சா?
VB.
ASP.NET VB.NET.
VB.NET.
அப்ப நான் வந்து பண்ணேன், உங்களுக்கு வரலையோ டு த கிளாஸ்? தெரியல எனக்கு. ஏன்னா நிறைய பேட்சஸ் இருந்ததுல நான் எந்த பேட்சுக்கு வந்திருந்தேன்னு தெரியல. பட் ஐ வாஸ் தேர் in the lab. I'll be for the regular class, not for the examination. Examination நான் வரல, கிளாஸஸ்க்கு வந்திருந்தேன் நான். ஓகே ஃபைன். ஸோ அப்போ அந்த ப்ராக்டிக்கல் எக்ஸாமினேஷன்ஸ் முடிக்காததுனால உங்களுடைய ஃபர்ஸ்ட் செமஸ்டர் ரிசல்ட் வந்து ஹோல்டில் இருந்தது. இப்போ ப்ராக்டிக்கல் எக்ஸாம் முடிச்சாச்சு, எல்லாரும் மார்க்ஸ் எல்லாம் என்டர் பண்ணி கொடுத்தாச்சு. சரியா? இந்த இப்போ அரியரும் ஓவர் ஆயிடுச்சு. ஸோ வெரி சூன் யூ வில் பி ரிசீவிங் யுவர் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் செமஸ்டர் மார்க்ஸ். அவ்வளோ ஆர்வமா இருக்கீங்களா? இன்னும் 3 செமஸ்டர் இருக்கே. ஓகே ஃபைன்.
கேட்டுக்கலாம்.
அதான் இதுதான் என்னோட பதில். எப்பன்னு தெரியாது, எல்லாம் எக்ஸாமினேஷன் செக்ஷன்ல கேளுங்கம்மா, அங்க சொல்லுவாங்க எப்ப ரிசல்ட் வரும்னு. ஆஃபன் விசிட் த வெப்சைட். ஓகே ஃபைன். ஓகேம்மா, ஆல் தி பெஸ்ட். யூ கேன் லீவ் த மீட்.
Thank you ma'am.
ஓகே மேம்.
Thank you ma'am.
ஓகே. Kindly leave. Everyone leave the meet.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.